on tracks, you feel me? I might as well get paid for it. Sermon of the day. You right where you supposed to be, baby. Informant, that information for me. Important, you get a portion of fortune pouring. Confession, fortunately, blessings are not a snoring. You mellow, so focus on scoring. Got you underperforming. I never expect something, never assume nothing. Judging me for my past, but that's why I'm triumphant. I don't demand, I know where I stand like engineer hands. Watch how my life pans. That game plan, show out like a jotter, pop out like a cutter. Telling the kick rock, skipping the country squares like hopscotch. This gonna be my mood to my beat drop. Putting my boogie shoes in my diddy boots, ain't no stop. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. Yeah. If having hope is dangerous, call me Evil Knievel. You leading on the wrong side, living with pens and needles. So lethal, made Shane Black wanna write a sequel. Cause I snuggle my dream till it's seen as illegal. And I still probably will, cause I can never give up. I got my goals calling me, how could I never pick up? Either we make up or just break up. With the snake hits, get the rake up. Yeah, selfish, I'ma cake up. If I don't shake me to wake up. Let my depression catapult me to succession. Shine a light on my imperfections like a projection. Every struggle and lesson, your issues ain't your oppression. Never got a question, keep pushing me to progression like I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Happy Thursday, happy Thursday, happy Thursday, everyone. I hope everyone has had a great and an amazing day. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Well, we're back another week. Here we are in the greatest month to ever exist on the calendar, the month of November. That's right. I said it. I'm biased. It is my birth month. So therefore, we are excited about it and glad that we have had the opportunity to see this 11th month of the year 2024. The year is going by so fast. And so you better hurry up and get in what you need to get in before it's all gone. 2025 is right here. So good evening, everybody. Welcome to Thursday night with me, your girl, Lady Dawn B, on the greatest network in these YouTube streets, the Bravo with Sheila Network. And with that being said, we salute and pay homage to the Queen Bee of the Bravo with Sheila Network, none other than my auntie Bravo. You know and love her. She is Pastor Sheila Ingram, and we salute her tonight with a Bravo. Thank you for yielding me this captain's chair every Thursday night so that I can come in and have great conversation with you. And I hope that you like, subscribe, and share with everyone because we're going to have a good talk on tonight. So, again, welcome, like, subscribe, and share if you don't mind. It is free 99. Do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up, that like button. It helps push our algorithm up and get these great conversations that happen on this network out to more people. Spread these great words, these great conversations. Don't keep them to yourself. We want to be impactful to everyone that we can reach, right? I was going to say amen, but we're not in church. But y'all know I'm a God's girl, so you're going to get a little Jesus every time you get me. However, while we're here, the Bravo with Sheila Network is not a Christian network. While most of us that do come on and share are believers, we are not Christian based. We do respect, we honor, we reverence everyone's thoughts, feelings, opinions, whatever your moral compass is. We appreciate you engaging in conversation and sharing your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Our number one rule, main rule, and pretty much the only rule besides no cussing is that we respect one another. So we just ask everyone to be respectful in the comments, in your shares, respectful to one another because we want to have great dialogue. On Thursday nights, we come to have real talk with real resolutions with real people. So with that being said, let's see who we got in the building so far. This is going to be good tonight. I know I've been excited about it and put my glasses on so I can see for real, y'all. So let's see what we got going on up in here tonight. We have the Psalmist Voice saying, "What's good, family? Is going to be lit tonight." The 2 of the 3 Power Rangers are in the building. Let's go. Yes. If you haven't been missing, if you don't understand that comment, you got to go back to last Thursday and watch. So you'll know everybody's nicknames and who we are referring to in this space. And of course, who else do we have? None other than the greatest moderator to ever do it in these YouTube streets. That's right. She is Anania. She is amazing and we love her. She belongs to us. Love you, beautiful. Thank you so much for being here on tonight. As always, in place on her post, she said, hey, at the Bravo with Sheila Network. And she is greeting, hey, girl, how you doing? It's good to see you, mama. Oh, and let's see. None other than my favorite Canadian Jamaican, my brethren, is in the building. None other than he is no stranger here. He is not a guest. He is family, y'all. That is the person of Gregory Bloomfield. He is my brethren. That's right, my brethren. He sure enough is. And I appreciate him being here tonight. You got to check him out. He has motivational moments. Also, check out his show. It is amazing. I promise you. And he's been on here several times, and we look forward to having him back. He's usually on, or he'll pop in when he can with our men's lounge. He has such an amazing perspective, and everybody is really good. He says, shout out to the Bravo Sheila Network and to Dawn B. Yes, sir. We are here in the place. And who else is in the building on tonight? That's right. You know her. You love her. You will see her shortly. She is my kin, Anitra Ace, the Ace Perspective is in the building. You getting ready to hear from her as well. She said, we ready. Let's get it. Let's go. And of course, none other than the mystery man, Vaughn Eric says blessings all, and he leaves no one out with 45 L's, and we really love that. It's already getting started here. Oh, Pastor Chris said they not ready. So guys, like, subscribe, and share, invite a friend. And again, come on down to the comment section, say hello so we can greet you properly. We appreciate you being here. We just want to shout you out. I promise you it's safe. We have security. We ain't gonna let nobody harm you, but you don't have to sit up. We know they're the expensive seats, but you don't have to sit up in the silent section by yourself. Come on down to the comments. It's safe. I promise. I got you. All right, you're covered. So without further ado, I want to bring up our fellow, did I forget anything? Let me see before I bring them up. Because once we get started, again, on Thursday nights, you never know what you're going to get. But everyone has been excited. We have all been excited about this conversation. So I can only imagine where this is going to go and what's going to happen. As I said, that was one thing I did forget. As I said, Bravo Sheila Network, while we are not Christian based on this side of the street, if you do need a word of encouragement, or some just spiritual, a little bit of spiritual encouragement, you can go right across the street to the Sheila Ingram Ministries Network. And over there, you will find plenty of good word, plenty of spiritual encouragement, plenty of enlightenment that'll bring you a little close to God and give you a little bit more peace in your day. We have Pastor Sheila, who comes on with the kabod. She delivers the word. She's going through the book of Psalms right now. She brings music meditation. She brings extended word. Let's see, on Tuesdays, we have my mom, literally my mom, Pastor Rosa. She is on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. bringing forth a good word. Tap in, tune in, get there. And on Friday mornings, that's tomorrow at 11 a.m., we have the dynamic trio, the Women of Grace, who is Pastor Sheila, my mama, Pastor Rosa, and we also have my auntie gangster, Reverend Jeannie. The three of them come on and they share from the word. Also, mostly they're dealing with the women of the Bible. So ladies, come on, tune in, tap in. Fellas, don't think that you're left out. Tune in to come on and learn about some of these women in the Bible to help you understand your woman even more, maybe a little bit or something like that. I don't know. But it's just good stuff going on over there at the Kabbalah. One of these over on the Sheila Ingram Ministries Network. One of these days, we can ready to go over there across the street, and we're gonna set the preachers loose over there. real soon. All right, 2025, we going across the street. We still gonna stay on this side of the street, but one of them Thursdays we gonna go across the street and we gonna let the preachers loose. If you think that we turn it up here when we're talking about relationships, I want to tell you it's gonna be fire when we go across the street to the ministry side and let the word just do what the word does. So keep all those things in mind. Monday nights, don't forget to join in with my fellow podcasters, my Harlem Girls sisters, Mi Familia, on Monday nights, Monday Beyond the Mic with Coach Pache and Dr. Elaine. I'm telling you, there's so much good stuff. Y'all want to like, subscribe, and share. Don't miss anything. So let's see. We got my beautiful sister, Carolyn Hayes, in the house. Hey, sis. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in and joining us for this great conversation on tonight. I'm excited. So I think I've done enough talking in a sense for right now. So I'm going to bring up our fellow panelists on tonight. They are no strangers here. Our Thursday night squad is well known. I'm going to start off with bringing up our mystery man. You will learn his voice. If you haven't known it, you will know it. You should know it. You hear him even when you don't see him. He is in the person of Sir Von the Invisible Eric, because I can't remember what ND named him last week. Welcome, Von E. What's poppin'? How are you tonight?
I'm doing good, and I pray all is well to everyone in the chat and on the panel tonight. We about to get it on tonight. It's going to be a great combo.
Watch your whole voice, okay? Watch your voice. All right, we are glad you are here. We're glad you're here. Now, next. Not last, not least. Oh, before I do, let me say hi, because y'all know this is going to be some fire. I'm going to bring the fire to the stage. But hey there, my prophetic boss, Bishop, the Prophet Michael Claiborne. What is good? We got to get you back. I don't know why I didn't get you into this conversation on tonight, but I'm sure you'll light it up in the chat. But we got to get him back. He is no stranger here on the Bravo with Sheila Network. He's like the uncle. You know, he comes in, he's brought us, he helps us through my ministry marriage segment. And he has been, again, no stranger, author, podcaster. He's got 29,000 jobs. You know, one of the hardest working, but he does it all aside from preaching the word. So it's good to see you, Bishop. Thank you for popping in. We know you're going to light up these comments. You ain't got to be Bishop tonight. You could be Michael. You could just be Michael. All right, let's see. He's he's here for all of it. Okay, listen, you already know it goes down. You already know it is about to go down. We got to, Bishop needs to come on up. You know, if you're free, I will drop the link. Come on up, because I know he got a lot to say. But speaking of a lot to say, he is no stranger. Y'all already know him. You know him. You love him. You've heard him. You've seen him. He is the co-lead of he's the co-moderator, the lead moderator of the Men's Lounge. I call him the Encounter and the Experience, and all of us know why. You are no stranger here. All right. And if you don't know, if this is your first time, you will know before it is all said and done. Lord, here we go in the comments already. Black men don't cheat. Jesus. Anyway, the Experience and the Encounter, known as none other than the Psalmist Voice, aka Pastor Chris, is in the house on tonight. Welcome to the platform. How are you today?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was morphing. My bad. Yeah, what's good? What's good, Bravo with Sheila Nation? What's good, my brother Von Eric, a.k.a. Charlie, a.k.a. Black Ranger. Yeah, we are ready to get this party started. This is a very interesting topic, and I have a lot to say. So I'm going to hold my peace for right now, and then I'm going to let the toxicity commence as we continue. But of course, shout out to Fluffy Nation. Shout out to all of my new TikTok family. A lot of them are probably watching right now. So hats off to you, and also Lady Dawn V for having me on the platform as always. But it's about to go down, and then when your mascot of the Fluffy Nation comes,
She's not the mascot.
we'll be ready for. I know she's not. I'm just I'm throwing blows already. We didn't even get started. But anyway, what's up, family? I'm ready to get this party started, right? So let's get it. Let's go. What's good, Bishop Claiborne? I wish you were here because it would have been more toxicity to tonight's conversation. So let's get it. I'm going to bring the smoke as always, sir. Let's get it.
Lord.
Let's go.
He says, "What's up, Pastor Chris? Glad you're on, bringing the smoke." Yeah, that's all right. We got extinguishers for all that. Carolyn says he comes with all the girl. Listen, and don't sleep because Von Erich behind the scene. He's a part of the toxic parade. So don't take it all. Lady Zinja is in the house. How are you, beautiful? We getting it started already. Bishop Claiborne is over here. I ain't calling Bishop tonight. I'm calling Michael because Bishop ain't talking. This is Michael talking. He said, "Black men don't cheat." Carolyn said, "Don't start, brother." He says, "Sis, I'm gonna keep it a buck." You can keep it a buck. We're gonna give you some change tonight though, because that's a lie from the pit that black men don't cheat. Yeah. Then just said, "What up? What do you call it then?" See, here we go. So if you haven't guessed already on tonight, our topic, which I did not choose, I'm going to give the credit to the person who chose it, but we gonna talk about it. Von Erich actually brought this topic up. So, I'm expecting that he would have a lot to say. So I want you guys to really like, subscribe, and share. And as you see, don't be shy in the comments. Please make your comments. I promise you we will get to them and we will share them. Okay, let's talk about it. The topic on tonight is, can a cheater really change? My goodness. So before we get started, I just want to let's add some definition to the conversation. We already know. Well, you know what? I'm going to hold off on my definition in my notes. I'm going to ask the gentleman. All right. So just off the cuff, what's your take? Can a cheater really change? Who wants to go first? Von Erich, Pastor Chris, whichever one.
You want to go first, Pastor? Go ahead.
I'm gonna sip my beverage.
Sure, I'll light it up for you, Von Erich, and you can take the torch. Okay, here we go. Can black men not cheat or change? Or
we didn't say black men. We said, can a cheater really change? Now y'all is black men in it, so I'm feeling like y'all got some guilt going on somewhere. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. Carry on.
No. Because the reason why I said that, because normally that topic is always geared to the black man, right? No pun intended. So I'm going to put a little twist to this because, again, yes, can a cheater change? Absolutely. If they mature, absolutely. It's too easy. But it's easier said than done if you don't get your stuff right. So, meaning, if you don't get your heart posture right, you don't get your mind right, you don't grow up from that tomfoolery of trying to be the Mac or the one and done, or however you want to call it nowadays, because we've got all these different names for it now. So pretty much you have to know yourself, know who you are, all that stuff, and then that part of you can change. Now, of course, I'm going to drop a God element because, again, I can speak about this, and I'm quite sure my brother Von Erich can speak about that too, because I'm very transparent. I'm not going to sit here and act like I was saved all my life and I was such a good boy and I was cookie cutter and all that stuff. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Can a cheater change? I was one of them. Yes, you can. But it takes a lot of God, a lot of soul searching, a lot of selflessness, and being authentically you, period. That's how you can change. But that's just a little tip of the iceberg because I got a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to pass the torch over to the Black Ranger, Von Erich, where he's probably going to.
Come on, Vaughn. What say you, just off the cuff? Can a cheater really change?
It depends on the cheater. And like brother Chris said, where they are in their life. You know, and it also depends. It also goes, like, I know you're going to share your definition on how do a person look at, feel, as far as how they determine what cheating is or define what cheating is. Because cheating can go in many different ways.
Yes.
So can a person change from where they used to be? Yes, if they want to, or if they feel as though they're actually cheating. Because like Brother Claiborne said, you know, men don't cheat. Well, you know, black men, but he said men don't cheat. And that be because the way he look at it, or maybe the way
that's because he's toxic today. That's why he's he's gonna go back to being saved in the morning because we have prayer at 6:30. Right. That's why I loosed him from the bishop. The bishop.
But I'm trying to get into brother's head, because some men and women to feel as though they're not cheating. They don't cheat. You know what I'm saying? Some people look at cheating, when you look at someone a certain way, some people look at that as cheating. But then some people don't. We have people, you see what I'm saying? So we have people that like to touch a lot when they talk. Some people look at that as cheating. Some people look at cheating as when you share an emotional intimacy with someone else, they consider that as cheating. And then you have to establish, as far as when you first get into a relationship and y'all together 2, maybe 3, 4 weeks, or maybe months, are y'all actually going together? Are y'all actually together? So if a person step out, is it cheating? Well, we wasn't actually together. We was just, you know, fooling around, doing our thing. So all of this depends on how the person is within themselves. Like Pastor said, their maturity, how they define cheating, things like that. But if can a person change? Yes. I was a cheater, and like Pastor said, the Lord worked with me and my maturity and my understanding, and the persons that I'm with understanding as far as how they are, how they look at the word cheating and define it. So yes.
All right, that was good. We got some comments. I'm gonna leave y'all alone for a second, only a second, to read the comments. my brethren Gregory says, this is the key. That is the key. Some men never change because they don't want to. They are merely grown boys. That is factual. That is factual. And some women too. My sister Carolyn says, yes, they can. That's okay. So there's 3 for yes, they can. Gregory also says, and a man can change when they can accept that they were wrong and take accountability to those that they hurt. Great point. We're going to get into that too. Mr. Michael says, the problem with this topic, it leans towards men, but the topic is cheater, no gender. Believe me, women absolutely cheat as well. So yes, that's true. Let's clarify. There's no problem with this topic. Y'all are leaning in from your own sensitive spaces and referring and putting gender on it. We never said that it was male or female. Can a cheater? Cheaters come in all shapes, forms, sizes, colors, creeds, all that. Now, black men, I know y'all wear a lot of weight on your shoulders. I know y'all get the bad end of the stick most of the time. But we're just trying to ask a simple question. Can a cheater really change? Now, listen, Sir Michael, you said black men don't cheat. So if black men don't cheat, then this topic is not geared or twisted towards it's not, because you already said that it does not happen. It's not a thing.
Right.
So what's wrong with this? Stop it. Okay. Zinja says, yes, people cheat. Michael says, everyone can change from anything they want to change from. That is true. And Pastor Chris said, we have been delivered, Von Erich. No, clap. And Sir Michael is still saying, nope, it doesn't happen. Right, because the black man, that's it, they don't cheat. Now, it is true. Black man, listen, black man, white man, orange man, yellow man, green man, purple, polka dot man, whatever shade, color, taupe, whatever, rainbow, females, male, cats, dogs, goldfish, everybody cheats. It is in us. It is in everyone to have the capacity to cheat. The question is, are you willing to fulfill that desire to cheat? That's one thought. Just saying, because we can all be prone and tempted to do so. Question is, what are you yielding your members to? But I ain't trying to be churchy today. I'm just saying.
I like that what you said. You use the word desire to cheat. What is that desire? Because a person may not be, that's an interesting word that you use, desire to cheat. Mm-hmm. And that's interesting. How are you using the word, when you place that word desire? Because some people just not go out. They don't believe that they're using their desire to cheat, but they're using their desire to satisfy a craving.
Okay. So in that respect, when I talk about the desire to cheat, mm-hmm. It is a fine line in being tempted in cheating and having the desire to do so. You can have a temptation before you and not yield to it. However, if you continue to focus on that temptation, it then awakens the appetite within you. That appetite, because now you're entertaining the thought, becomes a desire, because you're wrestling within yourself. Like, the more I think about it, the more that looks good. The more I think about it, I like how she talks to me. The more that I think about it, I like how his muscles look. The more that I think about it, these are the things that go from a simple temptation or a bump in the road or just a small acknowledgement. And because we are feeding that thought, it becomes a desire. It becomes more alluring to us, So that is what will push you into that space of cheating.
Okay.
Because then your desire becomes greater than your need to be faithful.
I got you. Okay.
So it's the thoughts that we entertain.
Right. I got you now. So basis is your desire on the way of what you're feeling probably at that moment. You might, like you said, muscle, or your desire of a craving, a lustful desire. I guess we should say that, correct?
It can be lustful. It depends, on the content of your heart. Right. Some of our desires are straight lustful. Some of them are, and in its rightful place, that's okay.
Okay.
I'm a little challenged right there. I'm not speaking from the biblical space, because I don't want y'all to start coming for me questioning my eldership. Okay, we on the relationship channel tonight. We ain't talking. Just say, I got to guard. I got to watch my witness here. Okay,
right.
But when I speak in the sense of something becoming lustful to you or something becoming desirable to you, your mate should become desirable to you. Biblically, anything lustful is not good. You should not lust after your mate. You should desire them. It's a different approach. It's a different intent, and it is a different. It comes from a different space. Anything you are lusting after is usually something that you cannot have. It's tempting to you because you want it, but you can't have it. And then it becomes a longing for. We do have a comment. Hold on, let me see what Lady Zinja says. Lady Zinja says, we are evolving every day. We change whether we want to or not. We have no control over that. We do, however, control whether that change is for the better or worse. That is true. That is true. We do change every day, whether we want to or not. Absolutely correct. Because we are moving along with everything else that is moving along with us. We have to be flexible and go with the ebbs and the flows of life, you know, and move along with it. It is going down now, y'all. But I'm excited because my partner's here, my kin is in the building. And that is true. We do have to, the difference is we deciding, we have control whether that change is for the better or for the worse. So when it comes to our desires and our temptations, you know, you have to count up the cost. Is what I'm really longing for worth it? Is it going to make me better in the end, or is it making me worse? We have temptations that sometimes try to pull us back, where something that was once good for us is no longer good for us. Sometimes we end up cheating, being in cheating situations when we spin the block. You know, you could be now, but you think about, you know what I'm saying? You'll last, and you're like, you know, let me spin the block, see if that's an option. I don't want to lose what I have, but I remember what I left. And you have to think about, if it was that good, why did you leave it? You know, if it was that good, you know, why didn't you?
That's very interesting and wisdom. What she said is, well, I would like to go deeper. You may know the answer when it comes to when she said, we change whether we want to or not. We have no control. I would like to know an example of that. Of what?
Okay, Zinja, you can put that. You can respond in the comments if you want to, Zinja, with what he's asking, more definition on what you mean by whether we change whether we want to or not. For me, saying that we change, I got you, Pastor Chris. For me, in reading that we change whether we want to or not, there are some changes that happen to us that we have to move along with in order to progress in life. I don't care what stage, what place, what point in your life in. Think of it like a street. You know, you walk down the street. You can only go up and down the block for so many times until you hit a corner.
Right. You
have to choose which way you're going to go on this corner. You're going to cross the street, or you're going to turn the corner. That's a change that you have to make. You have no control over that, but you are now in a position where you have to make a choice.
Okay.
You may want to keep walking up and down the block, but it's not doing anything for you. In order to get somewhere, you have to divert. You have to make a choice. These are changes. You're presented with a change that you cannot control, but you have the choice in that change to decide what direction is better for you. If I could make that example. I got you, Pastor Chris. I'm coming right to you. I want to read a couple of these comments, and then I want to bring up my partner. But I'm going to bring her up. Let's see. Zinja says, sometimes people may feel forced to cheat due to not having needs met. Yes, ma'am. That is a great point. And we're going to tap on that. Cheryl Green, good evening, she said cheating is a choice. Absolutely. It is not a mistake. It is a decision. We make conscious decisions to cheat. We don't slip in nothing, and there is no temptation so great you just slipped into. Nope. You made the conscious choice. We got to own it. Accountability. Zinja also says, yes, Dawn, plus life circumstances causes us to change. Right. We have to shift. You know, we can't control if a person passes away. We can't control if we lose a job. We can't control if, you know, we have to move. Those are issues that we have to change. We have to shift with that. And so it's the same in relationships. There are things that come up in a relationship where we have to change. We got to make choices as to how we're moving forward. Gregory Bloomfield, her husband, says nobody cheats by accident. Right. I did not just trip and stumble and fall into this whole person's apartment.
Wait a minute. Hold on. He got to explain. He got to explain on that. He got to, because that's applied to one phrase of cheating. Now, you're right. You can't just accidentally slip in someone, you know, but you can accidentally cheat in another way.
Okay, hold on. We gonna get there. We gonna tap on that. I hear y'all. Y'all ready tonight? I love this. Let me see the
We gotta stop tripping now.
No, it's good. This is good. This is good. This is good. I love it. Cheryl says, is it cheating when I'm not married to the person? Good question. We're going to get on that too. So now I'm finished these comments because I wanted to make sure to read them and we're going to pop on it, but I want to make sure to get our panel completely packed on tonight. So y'all know her. You love her. She is my kin, bringing her in the place. None other than Anitra, the Ace Perspective. Hey, my kin, how are you?
Is her name Ace Fluffy or Fluffy Ace?
She could be Ace Fluffy. She is our
Not today. Not today. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I am a part of Fluffy. Hello, good evening. I'm doing well. How's everybody doing tonight?
We are good. We are good. Glad you are here. Come on, Pastor Chris. I think you wanted to say something, and then we're gonna jump into these comments again. I have some definitions and some things I want to. Y'all are in it. Y'all are on it. We hit a good spot tonight. I'm excited. Come on, PC.
Ice cream is a craving, right? Burger King also tells us to have it your way. McDonald's also gives us a melody to sing, da 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 da. I'm loving it, right? Here's the point. Again, cheating's a choice. We're going to get into the other part about if you're married or not married. What we're going to get into that later. But all I'm saying is that it's a choice. You either choose to do it or you choose not to do it. Yes, a lot of times cheating is stemmed from emotional lack, male and female. Okay, I don't want to say that because it's going to cause a whole, it's going to cause a fire.
It's all right. We there.
Von Erich, I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay.
Females are better at cheating than guys. Okay.
That is true.
I said it. But anyway, let's get back to the point, because it's funny how, and this is why this whole conversation is going to be straight fire, because this systematic way of how females think is so far in the future. They already know what they're going to do, what they're going to wear, what time. They have everything coordinated to the T. Now, us, we kind of, we're dumb. So, well, not all of us, but we kind of leave a sock or one of our earring falls out or something dumb, right? So we don't have the strategy quite down. So it doesn't make sense but we're always the ones to be put on blast when it happens. Now, I have a lot of ammunition right now, but I just wanted to say that, throw a little laughter into this because it's going to get serious, because I already see it in the vein of Ace. Her vein is popping through, so I already know she has something to say. And I already see Dawn B already. I can see the ears starting to smoke. So I'm ready to go anyway. So whatever y'all got, bring it. I'm ready. So I'm going to yield my mic for now because I got a lot of ammunition tonight. So hallelujah. Praise the Lord.
All right. Well, y'all like, subscribe, and share, because we're going to get into some of these questions because they're really good tonight, and I love it. Gregory says, in the words of the late Kevin Samuels, life is about choices and outcomes. Cheating is always a choice, whether conscious or not. Cheryl Green also asks, how do you accidentally cheat if it's a choice? Good questions. Now, I do want to, before we go further in the conversation, because we got a lot of sharing that's going to go on tonight. Everybody is excited, and I love it. So, to add some definition to cheating, cheating is, according to the book, when you act dishonestly or unfairly in order to gain an advantage, especially, it says especially in a game or examination. They're referred to, as most of us think of cheating, as purely sexual a lot of times. Let's see what else. It means to deprive of something valuable by the use of deceit or fraud. Sometimes we do that. Let's see what else I got here. Cheating is, again, an act of dishonesty or unfair, acting dishonestly or unfairly in order to gain an advantage. That is a basic definition of cheating. Now, there are many different forms of cheating. There are many different ways that people cheat. It is not just something sexual. Cheating happens, and we talk about, can a cheater change? Can a cheater really change? I think the basic answer to that question is yes, we can all change any habit that you want to. You just have to want to. I don't think anyone is a cheater by birth. No one came out just, with a cheating gene. I don't believe. We make choices in this life. And the same way you make that conscious decision in a moment to step out or cross a line from a commitment that you have to be, from a obligation you have to be committed to someone or something, and you cross that line into dealing with someone else or dealing with something else. Again, it is a choice. It's a choice that you've made. And just like you make that choice, you can make the choice to then change your behavior. Now, I'm going to go a little left on this, and I don't want to stay in this because this is a whole, this is a whole rabbit hole kind of conversation. But the problem with with a cheater changing is it is easier for us to get into a situation of cheating than it is for us to get out of it. Because once you cross that line and you start cheating, it opens up a whole different taste for you, a whole different desire. Some people do it for the excitement of it. Some people do it because they enjoy the moments of it, whatever that reason is. And so you have to then go back and undo all of that work. You have to untie all of those knots that come along with that. So there are different ways of cheating. There's different things that come up within that area of cheating. So you can change. However, you have to be willing to do the work to do so. I'll read some comments and then ask the question. All right. So Cheryl says, I think that's an opinion, not a fact, that women are smarter than men and cheating. It can be an opinion of, all of this. We are not, no one is experts up here. We are all sharing from our well of knowledge and from our life experiences. So there is no right or wrong. There is no black and white. The only thing we can ever speak of is from experience. I think, sometimes statistics to me are not as black and white as they seem, because they're only as good as the numbers that are reported. It's never an absolute. I would say, in respect to that, I'm not, I'm good for the use of statistics, but sometimes, it can be a little skewed. I will say that y'all are lighting up these comments tonight. I will say, when it comes to men and women cheating, who does it better? Because I feel like that's where Pastor Chris was, going with this. And just add a little toxicity to the fire. I will say, I believe when it comes to cheating, and not that I am a promoter of cheating, because I'm not, but women do it better. And the reason why I say women do it better is that he's right. We are very strategic. In my opinion, that's just Dawn 101. In my opinion, I'm not bragging on that. I'm not saying we need to be proud of it. I'm just saying men may do it more often. I don't know. I don't have figures. Men may cheat more often, but women do it better. Why? Because, again, we are strategic. We know how to be alluring into opening up an option to a man, so to speak, if we're speaking in that sense. I also think with women, what we do is we, being who we are, we learn your game and we just play it better. I'm just going to say it. That's what happens. We learn your game and then we just play it better.
You need to stop.
I'm just saying, listen, I'm just responding. That's just my opinion. The key is, though, don't teach me your game.
You need to stop playing. That statistic that probably was taken. I would like to know that.
I said I am not big on
statistics. I got you.
It would be wonderful if we could get some statistics on who. I said this is just Dawn's opinion. Now I know y'all got a lot to say. I see your faces. I'm gonna read some comments and then we're gonna get into this. We didn't even get to no questions.
Yeah, go ahead. They got some good questions.
Like, subscribe, and share. We're gonna get to all the questions. I promise you. Okay, so Gregory says. Was that per ChatGPT, cheating in a marriage or relationship generally involves breaking the trust and commitment that partners have established. He also says 4 different types of cheating: physical cheating, emotional cheating, digital online cheating, and financial deception. Yep, I have all those in my notes too.
Just doing that, you can make a mistake then. Just that, right, some of those right there, that you can make a mistake.
You could make a mistake. A mistake is something that you did not know. But okay, so let me pause there. If we're talking about, when you're talking about cheating accidentally, in my opinion, the only way you can cheat accidentally, again, is what you did not know. So if the person you're involved with does not share with you that they are involved, that I don't think that qualifies you as a cheater. That makes them a cheater. You were brought into a situation that you were not aware of. They did not give you the choice to choose to partake in whatever the situation is. They made that decision for you by being dishonest. So if you're looking at it,
or you do know, but you are used to doing a certain things a certain way, and you may make mistakes as you try to change or try to become what this person don't want you to be. So if I'm used to doing something physically or doing something as what he described, and the partner that I'm with looks at that as cheating, I may make a mistake because I'm used to doing something just about probably for years. So I will maybe make a mistake, and she may look at it as cheating.
Well, I wouldn't consider that a mistake then. That's still not a mistake, because you can't be blamed for that's your habit, or that's how you move. That deals with the expectations of the relationship about you being transparent about this is how I move, and that person's acceptance of it, and you two coming to a mutual understanding. There might be a gray area where you all have to work out what you're doing is normal to you, but it could be, it could be her insecurities. So
yeah, that's true, but she, just like you said, I do know, and it hurts her because she looks at it a certain way. So even though to me it's not cheating, but to her it is, I may make a mistake and do something that she may look at it. She still may look at it and say, I know what you're saying is something that is a gray or something that I've been used to, but still that doesn't change how that person may feel.
True, but then that doesn't make you a cheater. That makes that person's to her. But that's what I was going to say. But then that's that person's perspective.
Exactly.
They have to determine it. The ownership should not be on you. That is on them to change their view if they can. Now, maybe on you if you're aware of it, and that is something that you can change, and you're willing to do that for that person and make that adjustment. That's one thing, but I wouldn't necessarily say you're cheating. Let me just read these because I know Ace got something to say, and so does PC. All right, so cheating is a breach. Zen just says cheating is a breach of trust and fidelity to a partner, be it emotional, physical, digital, and micro cheating, flirting, phone calls, etc. Gregory says you can cheat accidentally, but y'all need to be on the platform. Y'all, make sure you send y'all the link so y'all can come up.
Yeah, they do. They should.
He has some some stuff happening. Some more toxicities in the house. So Gregory says you can cheat accidentally if you are really drunk. If you are really drunk or really high and you have no idea what you're doing. Other than that, choices and outcomes. So
some people don't look at that. Some people look at that. No, they don't accept that drunk or hide. They don't even.
I don't.
They don't accept that.
That's a hard place for me. We gonna be drunk or high together. I don't get high. So hold on, y'all. We have some more in the house tonight. It's about to pop off. See, I didn't even get to drop it, and I'm glad he's here. Come on up, Coach Claiborne in the building. How are you? Come on, say what's up to the people. Come off your mute mic.
Black men don't cheat.
Lord Jesus, go back on your mute mic. Go back.
What's happening, family? I wasn't gonna let Pastor Chris be here by himself. And Pastor Vaughn is doing a pretty good job of really clarifying the different mindsets.
Deflating.
Of women and men. So I'm really listening to him. I'm like, he's staying on your neck on the mere fact that y'all you don't want to think it's an accident, but I promise you some things are. Let me make it very, very clear, and I'm giving it back to you, Lady Dawn. All cheating is not equal.
It's not.
Absolutely, it's not equal.
That's true.
People cheat for different reasons. All cheating, although y'all want to go across the board, but all cheating is not equal. People cheat for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
They absolutely do.
You're right. You're right. I will give you that. I will definitely give y'all that. People do cheat for different reasons. I just don't think, in my opinion, that cheating is justifiable. And I know that that's a whole nother issue. I don't think in any space cheating is justifiable. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. And the reason why I feel that it is not justifiable, regardless as to what the reason is because I don't have to step outside of if it is enough, you're pushing me far enough to have to step outside of my relationship, then I need to end that relationship. I can make the choice to end the relationship and be free in my next, as opposed to having to cheat. Why do I have to subject myself to cheat and divide myself amongst two people, one who I might be interested in and one that I'm not? Why put myself through that? I don't think that in any situation, if we're speaking, and I know that it does happen, I'm not saying that it doesn't, and I'm not taking away from the reality of things that push a person to cheat, because I have been pushed to that wall myself. However, in that moment, I had to think about myself. I wasn't trying to walk around with the guilt of cheating, because once I crossed that line, whatever it is, it's hard, and that's just me, and I'm being transparent. It's hard for me to come back. It's hard for me to look you in your face, and I don't want to carry that weight. So I'd rather tell you straight up, like, look, this ain't working. I'm at my borderline. Like, I'm here. Like, one thing is gonna have to change, or I gotta go. I will remove myself from a situation because I don't want to walk around with that. It is too, at this big age, it is tiring. Juggling people and things, and listen, I'm just saying, it is tiring. I ain't got that kind of energy in me at this point in life, so I ain't cheating. I'd rather stay loyal. I'm just saying. What y'all got to say? Hold on. Azinja said, Coach Claiborne sounds like the words of a cheater. Pastor Chris said, with all due respect, Lady Bloomfield, leave Coach Claiborne alone. Listen, I don't know about the accident. I don't understand how accidental cheating happens. I don't understand that term. Like I said, for me, the only way it could be an accident is if you did not know that the person was involved, if you were dragged into it. Otherwise, if there's no deception and you are aware, I don't care how broken the situation is, you got to make a choice. I did not just stumble, across the doorstep and my lips fell on yours. And, we didn't just accidentally roll down the hill into your room. I'm just saying it did not happen. I took both my feet and walked over that threshold. I made a whole choice.
Let me give you a scenario since you can't see it. Let's go to the movie where it was Angela Bassett and Wesley Snipes. Angela Bassett and Wesley Snipes. She absolutely was not in that bar looking for Wesley Snipes, and neither was he looking for her.
Okay.
They were not in that space, but both of them were dealing with things at home. They were not in that space. They were not there for that reason. They were not there. They were not there, and then all of a sudden made a choice. They just made a choice to have conversation. They moved the conversation to quietness. Now, on the first night, if you remember correctly, they just went to sleep. There was no sex. There was no nothing. That was not a purpose thing. That was two people consulting one another. That was two people just listening to one another and understanding what both people was dealing with. They were not there with cheating on their mind. They were not there. It was like, oh, you fine and you good looking and I'm about to hit that. That did not happen in the movie. That was two people consulting one another, understanding one another, and one thing led to another. On the first night, it didn't lead to it at all. They fell asleep on both people's arms. Now, you being his wife would say that's cheating.
No,
and it was purpose.
No.
Because you said there's no accident, so it was purpose.
And it's not. And there's not. No, hold on.
Wait. So okay.
Wait. Because no. Let me just right there, because I don't want to switch to the next part until we address this part. Now, I would not say. I would ask you what happened. And if you're saying that nothing happened, no, I'm not going to say it is cheating in the sense.
In the room, in the arms, fell asleep with a woman. Now let's take away from Lady Dawn.
Ask you what if you say that happened.
Regular women. Let's take away from Lady Dawn. Let me present.
I'm a regular woman.
No, because you say that you handle things different. So you said that you would ask and you wouldn't consider that cheating. But let's ask Anitra. Can
I finish my rebuttal first before we move to Anitra?
Anyone consider that cheating?
Can I finish what I was saying though?
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's Thursday now. What you're talking about is motive. Was it their motive? Were they going out purposely and intentionally to do that? No. But does it mean because that was not your motive when you left the house, does that absolve from any action that crosses the line? Does that make it not cheating? Because I didn't go out to cheat. My intention was not. But still, at some point, hold on. But at some point, you made a choice. You made a choice to, yes, go sit down and have a conversation. You made a choice to engage. And whatever happened, okay, I can understand and give grace. All right, nothing happened. I'm understanding. All right, cool. We're giving grace. I'm going to work through it. I'm just saying, since you're bringing that up, let it ride. I would want to know what pushed you to that point. Now, again, we know that they were both, since you're bringing up that movie, they were both dealing with stuff. So, you can't really go back to the person, whatever. But that's the first night. Okay. But after that, after that night, it didn't just stay, we just hugging and consoling each other, having a kumbaya moment, and we walking away. It led to something. So the motive then changed, which created an action. But go ahead. I know everybody ain't me and I ain't everybody. So come on, Anitra, answer the good, because I ain't calling him Bishop tonight. Answer Sir Michael's question.
So here is what I from that, using that scenario, here's where it crossed the line for me the first night. The first night was when we were sitting at the bar having a conversation. Okay, I understand that was not the intent and motive. My question is, why and when did it have to go to a bedroom? So you have then put yourself in a situation that can turn into cheating. There's where your choice went wrong for me. At the bar having a conversation is one thing. Going upstairs into a hotel bedroom, whether you fell asleep or not, is where it crossed the line. For me, okay, so when you want to say in the initial, the initial conversation, because many of us have conversation with opposite sex, many of us. But if I now invite you into a bedroom space, why? Where are we going with that? Why do we have to go into a bedroom space now? There's no need for that. That is an issue. That is now you open the door, and which is why what happened later, because both of them knew at that point there was an open door. Had it stayed in the bar, it may not have went there. There's quiet spaces in the lobby. You did not. You could have went to the office. Ain't nobody in the office. But when you took it to the bedroom, the hotel bedroom, that's an open door. You opened the door for more. And that's where it went wrong for me.
All the way. So let me read some comments before we go on. Cheryl Green said, what? Exactly, sis. Look who's in the building. Hey, sis. Leatherface says, good evening. Good evening. We are talking about can cheaters really change on tonight. Like, subscribe, share. Y'all are lighting up these comments, and I am loving it. Pastor Chris referred to, was it McDonald's? Right there you go. I'm loving it. Gregory says, if you have self-control, then you won't find yourself in these situations. There is no accidental cheat.
I want people to be very careful. We come from a almost prideful stance when it comes, because anybody can find themselves in a situation. I get it. We're supposed to have self-control. I get it. We're supposed to, but what we don't want to do is to come off as if we're overly righteous. I don't want to come off that way to anybody, because that would now infer that no one can make a mistake on any level. And I don't want to go there. So I want us to be very careful in this conversation that we're not about to become self-righteous, because what I will tell you, you will find yourself in a situation that you may not be able to claw your way out of. I believe in self-control, but nevertheless, when I get in front of some greens, I may not have some. So I want us to be careful because there's so many people here, and there's so many sides to it. We don't want to alienate people, because we want people to learn from this. We want us to see. And I want to go back and say something, Lady Dawn. I do agree with you that I agree. I've said this for years, that women cheat more than men. We cannot statistically prove it because we're better at it. But I do believe that women cheat more than men, and in different ways, not just physically, emotionally. I do believe that. But what my biggest thing with the cheating, and I'm gonna be upfront with you guys right now from the beginning. I have been on both sides of this coin, so I'm speaking from wisdom, knowledge, and experience. So don't come for me. That's your warning. And I'm set free, so I'm able to talk about it because I have been delivered and set free. I am a changed cheater. It's what I did. It's not who I am. And I can even talk about my reasons. My reasons were vindictive.
And we gonna give you space to do so. So I just want to again welcome everybody to Thursday night with me, your girl, Lady Dawn B, here on the Bravo Sheila Network. We got the Thursday night squad, and we even got a special drop in the bucket on tonight with my prophetic boss, Bishop Michael Prophet Claiborne, who tonight we just calling him Sir Mike. We gonna let him drop the bishop and just be himself on tonight. So but ask everybody, because listen, sometimes you got to separate the two, because people don't think that you're a real person. They just, deal with you with your type. I am not Elder Dawn when I'm on here, okay? I am Lady Dawn, just Dawn, whatever. We just talking real, because we have to be real. We come to have real talk, real resolutions, and I appreciate everyone for joining tonight. We are talking about, can a cheater really change, is our topic on tonight. And I will just reiterate, of course, as always, like, subscribe, share. We want to hear from you. We want you to be able to share from whatever your moral compass is, your beliefs, Whatever keeps you governed, we want you to be able to share your thoughts, your feelings, and your opinions. We are here to have real talk with real resolutions. Trust, we may be passionate, but we are not arguing. We are just talking through the different angles of this topic. Again, this is what real talk is. This is why we need to have it. But I want everyone to remember and keep in mind, here on the Bravo with Sheila Network, the number one rule we abide by is respect at all times and in all stages and in all ways. So please be respectful in the comment section. Continue to enjoy yourself. I am loving these comments. I know our panel is too, and want to make sure that we are all heard, seen, and felt respectfully on tonight. So had to get that, had to do that commercial break. So like, subscribe, and share. All right, because this is good and good. I want to hear for the men folks. Cheryl is popping off with the questions tonight. We're going to have to make sure that we get these answered. Y'all ain't even letting me get to my notes. I'm just saying. She says, so it's okay for married people who are going through something to go to a hotel room, have a conversation, and accidentally cheat. And that's in reference to the movie, and that was a movie that was brought up. Just a very good point of how things can happen, and we will address everything. Leslie Faye says that part. Cheryl Green said 100%. Shasta says, why are you in a bedroom space? I agree. Lady Navoa, welcome to the platform. Welcome to the room tonight. She says the flesh temptation. Lindsay Faye says exactly, the bedroom was too far. Right, you could have chilled in find a quiet space, make a quiet space, pull two chairs together in a corner if you have to. I'm just saying. Listen, help yourself. Okay, we've all, and as Anitra was saying, I think we have all been in situations, and if you haven't, I see you, PC, and if you haven't, keep living, because you will. Been in a situation where your flesh is speaking louder than your self-control can whisper. Okay, so it's like, you really, and sometimes you may not always want to walk away, but self-control, and sometimes you may not always walk away, but self-control is important for us to have to the best of our ability. Lady Navoa says, facts, simple, I agree. Self-control is necessary. I believe that you control. Zen just said, absolutely, Anitra. We should never believe that cheating on our part is not possible. I say never say never. No, cheating is possible. And we said that earlier in the show. It is something, we are all subject to that temptation, or to that desire, or to our taste buds being awakened to something that, can bring us to a different kind of a space that puts us in a position where we may cheat. It's not a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2 thing. It's easier said than done, but it's not impossible to do. Linda Faye says you control your actions. Some people have self-control and others don't. And we all have that opportunity to express self-control. But also, as Anitra said, we cannot be self-righteous, because somewhere along the line in our lives, we have all fallen short. We have all, and it may not be in the area of cheating. You may need grace in some other area. So we all have to be mindful. It's just what side. I find that is what side of the coin we end up on, that screams the loudest. I'm coming right to you, PC, because I see you. You said teach. Oh, Cheryl said that. Gregory said, oh, y'all are really in this chat tonight. Gregory said, it's not about self-righteousness. It's about being principled. Trust me, I have made many mistakes, but I owned it and apologized, repented, and changed. And I think in the sense of when we're talking about being self-righteous, it's about remembering that just because you may be in this disciplined space now, we are all subject to fall to the same temptations. We are all subject to be prone to the same situations. What you may be strong enough to do today, you might not be strong enough to do tomorrow. So we can't get on, our high horse and podium and go.
But I think he's speaking. I think he also is speaking on his honesty, because he said he has come to a point, even though he may be tempted, he is able to get over the temptations and able to identify the temptations, and it won't succeed over him, because where he has grown and what he has done in the past put him in a position that he's able to speak with confidence that he won't go back and cheat again. So it depends. Yes, it's some men or women that has self-pride or get stiff-necked and think it will not happen. I think he's not speaking within that. He is speaking on a person that's confidence due to what happened to him in the past. He's able to speak.
Yeah, and that's no problem, and I agree with that. We're just trying to make it well-rounded because this is fire conversation tonight. Hey, Elaine, my bestie is in the building on tonight. That's right. Welcome. And Lady Devoe says, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, please, y'all. Yes, ma'am. Please, ma'am. Please, sir. It helps us with our algorithm. Then she says, Edon, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. That's right. We just have not met our temptation yet that has put you to that test or put you to that corner. Carolyn says, some people are just in denial. And it may not always be a person. We are all tempted to cheat in different ways, as was brought up before. Pastor Chris, I know you wanted to say something, so come on and share.
I'm about to light this whole thing on fire. I understand the logical responses. I understand all that. But we're not in our spaces of titles or in our spaces of maturity. That some people that are watching this right now are not at that level. So I'm going to speak to those folks that are dealing with this. Yes, we have different degrees of cheating. I understand that. You have the mental, the physical, all this stuff. I get it. But the fact of the matter is, some people, the problem with the whole cheating aspect is the fact that the person is dealing with something that maybe the other person can cure and this person can't cure. It takes therapy. It takes a lot of prayer and all that, but we can go into the spiritual side. But I have to agree with what Anitra said. We need to stop acting like we are so high in the third dimensional shando and start realizing that people are really going through some stuff. Some people may be struggling with commitment because of something that happened to them, whether you're a pastor or not. Some people that are just going through different stages of life, which causes their emotions to shift, to causes things to happen. Life happens, ladies and gentlemen. Am I endorsing cheating, giving a 2 thumbs up and all that? No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is we need to stop acting as if we never walked that road, because trust me, I was in that road and I had to go through it, being the person that was cheated on and the one that was the cheater. I'm not proud of it. I don't sit here and floss my trophies and my medals of how many people I cheated with. No, that's not what this is about. We have to get to the root of the issue. We could talk about the dynamics and the dichotomies and all this stuff, go psychobabble all night long. But the fact of the matter is, if there's something deeply rooted in you, you have to deal with it, because regardless of how many people come into your life, if you don't deal with the root of the problem, you are always going to find yourself in every scenario that we are talking about in any facet. Oh, you cheated because you talked to her, or you cheated because you laughed too hard. What? It's little nonsense stuff, and we're getting too critical so fast. And like I said, some women are, you guys are and I make fun a lot. I say you guys are some of you are in the amount of stoicism, and you guys are just so disciplined that you don't have any faults or failures whatsoever, and you don't know what it's like to struggle with certain things. God bless you if that's your story, but most people are struggling. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be mean here, but we need to stop stop that, because the fact of the matter is, this is why people can't get delivered in the church section in the first place, because we don't want to talk real with folk. We want to super spiritualize everything. We want to throw oil on people and all this other stuff. Some people really need to get their issues uprooted, but we don't want to talk about that either. But anyway, this is the perfect platform to talk about it, because Pastor Chris ain't afraid to say anything about it, because I'm gonna be real with mine. I'm done. Back to you.
That's right. I would come right to you, Bishop. I just saying, I'm sorry, hold that thought. I just want to greet my mama's in the room, y'all. So I got to stop. The world stops when mama come in here. Hi, mommy. She says, if you think it, you've already done it. Now, mama say it for real. So, okay, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get.
I would like her to expand on that. That's interesting.
She's coming from the scripture. Y'all going to have.
Right. That's still, you can still learn. I just like her to expand on, because that's a nice learning. Mental, spiritual.
She gonna preach. She gonna preach if I'm just saying. I will ask her to expand on that, so that she can elaborate more. I do want to give space for Bishop to talk as well. I want to thank Pastor Chris for what he shared, and that is true. And I just want to say, because y'all know I'm transparent. I keep it real 100%. And where I speak from, even from the joking of, as he said, about, his degrees of stoicism, and all that. I found, and in truth, I had to learn. I've become extremely disciplined in areas of my flesh, because I was very undisciplined at a point in my life. So when you have come through the undisciplined seasons and you see that it does not benefit you, you see the destruction that it does, how many times will you allow yourself to go and touch fire and get burned and have to go through a healing process and all of those things? And this is in any area of life, because again, the question is, can a cheater really change? A cheater, it's a habit. Can any of us really change from our habits that are detrimental to our lives? We want to say or criticize or crucify the person who's the cheater, because that's not our struggle. So we can't see them ever changing. But yet, if you talk about whatever your struggle was, and you are now delivered, as we say in the church, or strengthened where you can go, and be strong. The Bible even speaks of, don't forget, when you're strengthened, you said, go back and get your brother. When you become strong in a thing, you're supposed to go back and get your brother. It doesn't matter what it is. But if you are now on the other side of it and disciplined, it is your responsibility to go back and help somebody else walk through theirs. Can the cheaters change? We can change whatever we want to. But again, for me personally, my areas of being disciplined and strict is because those are the areas that I was not disciplined in before. I was flirtatious, and being honest, and I didn't even know that I was flirtatious. I had no idea. My natural, my personality, or just the way I show up, I did not realize. My ex-husband had to tell me one time. He was like, doing, people flirting. I'm like, I don't know. My mother would tell you. I'm like, I don't get it. You have to pretty much come out and say to me straight. I don't take a whole lot of hints real well. I don't understand what that means. I'm very black and white. So I did not know me engaging in certain conversations was being considered flirtatious. But the person I was with knew me at my core and knows that if I feel like you're talking to me and I'm with someone, I would be offended and I'll be real pissed off, because that's disrespect to me. I take matters of the heart very seriously. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying that I have not been in those situations. And if that's what you're talking about earlier, Yvonne, about accidental cheating, in that sense, it wasn't by my motion. It was by what the person I was with was experiencing and how it appeared to them. But again, they knew me at my core. So he would say to me, Dawn, it's not you. Like, you are not intentionally looking for attention, but men don't perceive it that way. You're very friendly. I'm just saying, like, you're friendly and you're bubbly and you draw people and you listen, and men can take that the wrong way. So I had to then be conscious of this and try to change. Change, but it was hard for me to change me because
that's my main thing, though. That was my main thing. Just like what Pastor Claiborne brought up when he brought up the movie analogy. Both of y'all agreed as far as when it went to the bedroom. It's women just by him, they sitting there talking, that will be cheating. And that will be a mistake because just like you just brought up, you have a personality. You have something in nature that you always been doing. And you may just sit there and just have a conversation, which will be a mistake or accidentally because your woman that you with or somebody that you with, just by you sitting there having a conversation longer than 5 or 10 minutes, it will be considered cheating. And that's important when you establish your definition and your understanding of what cheating is, because it has to match. Because if it doesn't match, things go all out of the way. You see what I'm saying? So your definition may be different than my definition or my understanding. And when it's like that, you will make a mistake. You will do things accidentally, especially if it's in your nature that you're doing something that you will have to change.
And
on the initial,
I can understand it from that perspective, but again, I didn't take the ownership on that. I made the mistake because I was not the aggressor, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I understand where you're coming from. I'm not taking away from that. Yeah. I'm just saying for me, I didn't take it on as I made a mistake. How I processed that was it was an offense because I did no wrong. I just had a conversation, I was having a conversation. But the person that I was with at the time, like, he knew me. He knows how I am. He knows that I don't play that. Like, if I'm with you, I'm not going to do all the work to be with you and then step up. Like, I'd rather be single. I'd rather just keep dating you. If that's what's going to come. So we can both be free. Because I'm not trying to add no more damage on top of nobody. And I ain't trying to lie to you either. Because that's too much work to remember. My mind just can't do it. So, I'm just saying. But I hear you and I get where you're coming from. And that is a perspective to think of that. And again, but that wasn't me. If it was any other situation, I'm sure if he didn't know me the way that he did, I could understand that. I never saw myself as being flirtatious in that way because I was like, I'm just being me. I didn't know that. So I learned how to then tone that down, but it made me very uncomfortable because then I couldn't be myself. So, you do, it is a fine line between that. I just want to read some comments and then Bishop, I want you to share, and then Anitra come right after him. Zen just says, I like that, Dawn. I was big on that too. Be overly friendly or smiling in a way that was considered flirting, right? Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that saying hello. I didn't know. I didn't know it was really. So what you do? I'm like, you're not supposed to smile. I'm a happy person. Like, okay, my bad. It's hard for me to be grumpy. If I'm in a mood, then you don't like it, but okay. I just, I'll talk to you and you alone, but then that's not going to work out very well, Pastor Chris says, I agree with you, Lady Bloomfield, 100%. If that's a person's personality, I just think that you have to know the person that you're with.
Right.
And then your insecurities should not make my personality, my actions a mistake. Why do I have to continue to apologize? Like, yo, bruh, I was like this when you met me. Like that, you were one of them on the other side who was happy to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, was it flirting and cheating then? So I don't understand. So help me make it make sense. The math ain't mathing. But if this is how I am when you met me, you can't expect me to change my natural personality because I'm now with you. Because now that means you are insecure and you want your insecurities to override who I am, which changes who I am. And that's not fair to anybody. And in that case, yeah, you would want to cheat because you're being suppressed. I'm just saying. All right. Then just says, yes, Von Eric, you need to define cheating in your relationship. Right. And again, guys, we are not experts. We are sharing from our well of life. We are sharing from our experiences. We are having real talk, a real conversation, because we want to have real resolutions so that we can show up in relationships differently and better. Come on, Bishop, say something.
Let me piggyback off of my boy, because something, Pastor Chris, how we make a blanket statement about cheating. And I say cheating versus cheater because I am like Anitra. What you do does not necessarily define who you are. It is what you do. But we make a blanket statement. And I want to have the real conversation because it's one subject that we never get to the root of. What is the root cause of what that? It's amazing to me that Lady Dawn, that people will not put a blanket statement on drugs. Everybody doesn't do drugs for one reason. Let's go to drinking. Some people are social drinkers. Some people are drink every day because that's their role. I'm for fun, and they ain't mad about nothing. Some guys come home from the plant, they drink beer every night. They ain't mad, they ain't upset. That's just what they do. Some guys, some guys drink alcohol in the hood every day. They ain't upset. But then watch this. But then you got some people there that's at the bar, and they're trying to drown their problems away. They're trying to drink their issues away. Now, people take a blanket statement versus what's the root cause? What's the reason that you got there? What is the root cause of it? What is the root cause of your addiction to drugs? What's the root cause of women? They say women who are at the strip joints are all there for the same reason. Not necessarily true. I know some girls that took care. They were there to take care of their family. They were single moms. I know some girls that was there. They made a choice. Again, they made a choice. They were there. Watch this, Lady Dawn, because they were trying to go through college, because they were trying to go through school, because they were trying to. But we didn't find the root cause. And some was there because they were running away. It is the same way with the the LTV community, the alphabet community. A lot of people think it's because of one reason. It is not. Some people are in that community because of different reasons. The root cause of it, and that's why I say all cheating. It's not created equal. People have different reasons. Now, I think that what you said about your flirting, I think it was innocent because that's the way I see it. But watch this. I know someone else.
My alleged flirting. It was alleged.
Legend, yeah, because I don't think so. I think somebody read it wrong.
I'm just saying it was alleged. I'm saying now I'm like, if you want to know, now I'll flirt so you can see the difference in your mistake.
But right here. Okay, watch this. Perception, the perception of it. It is the new social media perception of cheating is liking someone's picture or liking someone's post. So now they consider that, so it's perception of it. It may mean nothing to the person that did it. It may be very innocent. It may mean absolutely nothing, but the person that's on the other side or the person that did what you can see it different. So, however, while you, it was nothing to you. I'm just smiling. I'm just speaking. I'm just doing this. But your partner at that time, while he did not have an attitude about it, he still said, "Well, this what it looks this way. It can be perceived this way." Well, who's perceiving that way? Because I've been going all this long time before you came in my life, and no one took it as nothing until I let it be known that this is what I really meant. So again, what's the root cause of it? Some people do things because of how they feel. Do they still got it? We know some people, as they get older, they do a lot of flirting to see if they still got it, to see if they still got the, that if it's still in me. Harmless shame. Again, the root cause of it, and I'll go back to Pastor Chris. What he was saying is that we try to make it blanket. Why is it that we don't try to, if we're gonna have a real conversation, find the root cause? Because the church making a blanket statement versus finding what, and there are individual root causes. You heard Anitra say she's going to tell her story, but I heard other women say that my ex-wife, before I married her, told me how when she was 20 years old, all the things that her husband had did before her, and he was cheating. So she made a decision that she was going to go back home and cheat. Out of anger, out of frustration, out of revenge, I want to make him feel what I felt. It was not because she was thinking that these guys back home was going to be better. She just wanted him to feel what she felt. So she did it out of revenge, and then come to find out that the guy that she cheated with was also cheating on her. So obviously that didn't go the way she wanted. But she kept saying to me, she said, my whole thing was, I said, so what is it that was it something back home? She said, no. My whole thing was, I wanted my husband to feel what I felt. So her cheating, the root cause of it, Lady Dawn, was retaliation. And so we can't make it a blanket statement. and saying that all cheaters are created equal, because it absolutely is not. There are reasons for people to get into things, and it's all not because somebody's a dog. It's all not because somebody has a salacious appetite. There are absolute reasons that people get into cheating, and the only reason I brought up the movie is because it did not start that way. It did not go that way. If they were not there for that reason, what was the root cause of it? Even though y'all jumped over it and dealt with, but why was they in the bedroom? And blah, 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 blah. And I said that, you know why I didn't say nothing, Pastor Chris? Because I wanted them to do what they always do. Nobody addressed the fact that those two people were dealing with something.
That's not true, because I said,
Lady Dawn.
No. I said you speaking. I said your point of it spoke to the motive. I did say that. I said that, which is interesting. What brought them there? There's a motive behind their motive initially, and what got them together was not. He didn't set out to, go plan to find somebody to cheat with. She didn't, as some women do. And I admitted earlier, some women, I said, when it comes to cheating, what happens is, like you said, it could be revenge. Sometimes what happens is when we cheat, when we are hurt by someone who cheats on us, yes, we will act in a vengeful way. And what we do is that we take the rules of your game and we play it better. That's what happens. And so women, we will plot. And I was being honest. I said some women, not all, some will plot. I know what to wear. I know which fragrance to put on. I know what place to go to. I know how to laugh. I know how to take my time walking across the room. I know how to send you a drink. I know how to, look at you from across we know that. If that's what I wanted to do, the motive behind it. So I understand what you were saying. You're right. Not all cheating is equal. And some people don't even need a reason to cheat. Some people cheat. You could be doing everything right and a person still cheat. That's not a you thing. That's a them thing. So I just wanted to say we heard you. We weren't jumping over your example.
Past it and didn't address it. You didn't address it.
It's not that we went past it and didn't address it.
We're sorry.
And not only you, but others in the chat made it seem as though, but they could have just did this, and they could have just did that, and that did. They went straight to the bedroom. Instead of the mere fact is that, what got them here? What got them here? What was going on at home? What conversations? What was being ignored? What was not being talked about? What was the frustration? What was the that got them there? I'm dealing with and they started comparing notes. They started comparing they started comparing what each person was dealing with. They started comparing. I think one was dealing with grief. And I don't care what nobody. I've been preaching for 30-something years, and I promise you, while I honor and respect death, I don't like grief, because grief will tear up families. Grief will make people do a whole lot of things that they never thought that they would do, would not get into. And so one is dealing with this, and they started doing this conversation, man. They started, and and they continue the conversation. Whether you say it could have been here or there, that's one thing, but it's the mere fact. And if someone was in that, and I'll end with this, was in that city and saw, let's say, the conversation in the lobby, the conversation, and saw that and reported that back to that person's spouse, that person, even sitting there having a long conversation, would have automatically said it was cheating. Even sitting there, even Lady Dawn, am I right? Even sitting there, if he was sitting there for an hour talking to Ashley Bassett, and one of her girlfriends happened to show up in that place and called her back, the girlfriend gonna call it cheating, and when she called back home, she gonna call it cheating, or vice versa, if it's homeboy or whatever the case may be, because again, it's how people look at it that way, and some people will automatically say this is that, and we know there's different levels. So that, again, a root cause is always. When I look at life, and here is the difference with me and Ginger and me and others, when I look at anything that people are going through, as even in Christianity, even we have the BC days, the before Christ days, and then we have the after Christ days. What I look at with anybody in life, I don't care if it's cheating, I don't care if it's lying, I don't care if it's dealing with drugs, I don't care if it's dealing with marriage, dealing with divorce. But I always, when I talk to my couples or anybody, any saint, anybody come to me, I want to find out what got you there.
Mm-hmm.
What was the root cause that got you there? Why do I say that, Lady Dawn? Let's address your topic.
Why?
You can't change anything if you don't know how you got there in the first place. You can't change anything, because even coming to God, unless you tell God, before you can save me, God, you need to know why I am this way to get to the root of it. You can't change nothing in life unless you get to the root cause of how you got there. And that is the problem that we do not deal with in the church or anywhere else, because this is not a church, just a church now. But most of the time that we do not deal with people is the blanket statement, and we don't get to the root cause. Because if you're going to help somebody, you gotta help them get to the root of it in order to not get that. So that's where change comes from. It's addressing the root of a situation. I'll go on mute. I got more like Pastor Chris. I'll be back.
No, that's true. That's true. No, you good. Zen just said, whatever the case may be or may have been, cheaters are capable of changing if they desire to, which is true. It's possible. And, again, the question is triggering, yes. And it's intentionally said that way. Von Erich had brought this topic and he had shared a clip. And it was like, you know what, that's good. We're going to talk about that. Because we tend to think that people, when we are on the side of the offense, we bookmark people in the space, so to speak. And we label them as this forever. Yeah. But we forget that we too were once the offender, not the offended.
So we don't give grace where we once wanted grace.
Right, because this is not your struggle. This may not be your struggle, and we don't apply grace in the places. But you got to remember, when you were the offender, someone took the time to love you through your indiscretion. Someone took the time to be patient with you through your issues. Someone took the time to think better of you, to continue to see the best in you, to continue to see the better of you through your process of getting to the other side. Now, I'm not saying, it speaks to the capacity. Everybody does not have the capacity to manage the weight of your transition. If I see that you want to change your life, and having changed my own life, I am willing to work with you the best way that I can, even though that process might be painful to me, even though I may be at a deficit, I may be giving more to you through your process than I'm receiving back. But guess what? Someone did it for me. And I'm just saying, for me, that's how I've learned to be able to pour into someone else, not throw people away because I'm not everything that I do. Everything I do is not who I am. It's what I did. And we tend to start thinking that we are the only ones who can change, that God's grace ended. I was the last person who got the last drop of grace that was provided for change. There is no more after that. And in the church space, or as Pastor Chris says,
getting them to hell.
Right, in churchdom, the word says to, we have to be careful, because by the same measure that we judged, we're going to be judged.
Exactly.
So with the same grace, and I'm being honest, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I like it. I'm not saying it's not painful. I'm not saying it's a learning curve for me, but I have learned, like, I got to, every time I want to quit on somebody on something, God will be quick to flash up. And I know that it's casting the sea of forgetfulness, but he's like, lest you forget. And this is just me. This is my moral compass. And I'd be like, oh man, I can't even be mad at you. Like, I got to work through my moment so that I can be a support to you. God was like, well, who left you? Who left you when you were struggling? Who left you when you went through? Who left you when you were trying to become something that you had never been before, but you wanted to be better than what you are? Who left you? Who talked that to you? Who discouraged you? Who said that you? And there are some people who only remember me at a certain point of being done. Mm-hmm. And I've learned that when I see them now, I'm like, when you can only bring up my past, that's where you're stuck. That's not where I'm stuck. So you may have known me as a cheater in that situation, but guess what? I'm faithful now. I'm more than faithful. I'm committed. That's you. That's a you thing. You got to get out of that space of time. So can we change? Yes, absolutely. Does it take work? Yes, absolutely. Do you have to be willing to do it? Yes, absolutely. Will you fail and fall along the way? I don't know if you'll fail, but will you fall? Yes, absolutely. But we all have to give that space of grace. We got to treat others the way we want to be treated. Or if you have experienced people labeling you, talking down to you, throwing you to the side, because not everybody is kind, who will abandon you. If you have experienced that and you come across someone else who is in need of some grace, I say this: we learn from history. You either learn from history or you allow it to repeat itself. If you didn't get that grace, you know what it feels like to not have been given that grace. So this is where you treat somebody the way you would have wanted to be treated. You know, don't let your pain be infectious and continue, you know, to just seep and infect other people. Oh, because nobody helped me, I ain't helping nobody. But when you got kicked out at 18 or 20 and didn't know where to go, so now you want everybody else's child to be kicked out at 18 or 20 and they have nowhere to go. How did that feel? What did that do for you? You know, or when you were abandoned at, 30 in a relationship and you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, just whatever it is, you may not have gotten that grace, but at the same time, you need to be able to extend that grace. You need to be able to give that which you were not given. And sometimes it's hard to give something that you didn't get, but allow yourself to be stretched through it and learn. Because if not, we are just perpetuating the cycle and going on. I'm just saying, and I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I'm gonna read some comments, and then Anitra and Vaughn Eric, the mystery Vaughn Mystery Eric. I don't remember what his Power Ranger name was from last week. Pastor Chris, you got to remind me. But I want y'all to come on and comment. I hope y'all are enjoying this conversation. Again, we come to have real conversation with real resolutions. Ain't nothing scripted here. We share a little bit of information so that we know what we're talking about, but everybody comes and speaks from the whole heart. And I want to leave room to make sure for Anitra to share her story. I want Pastor Chris to share what he would like to share. I want Bishop Claiborne. We're going to release him from Bishop tonight. We just call Sir Michael to share what, we want everybody to be able to share whatever your thoughts and feelings are, we want you to be able to share, because we're going to have to do a part 2 for this one. But let me read some of these comments. Let's see here before I lose, because I'm losing my space here. Zen just said, okay, we read that one already. Pastor Chris says, we got quiet in the chat family. We love the dialogue. That's right, we do. We love the dialogue. We love it. Y'all was lighting it up, or it gets heavy. I understand. Y'all had to take a Selah. It's all right. Y'all be back. Zen just said, yes, once you have an issue with someone, it remains a part of your struggle to keep from returning to it. We don't just get past. Okay, we just don't get past the things like that. All right. Gregory said, my mom always told me that grace is free, but it's not cheap. Amen. Grace and forgiveness also demands behavioral changes. Absolutely. That's not judging. That's a natural and spiritual law. And that is true. How is it
from us? But wait, not from us. Grace, and it's not given for you to demand change, because people change at the levels that they change and not at your level and at your speed and at the places that you think they should change. That is only for God, and God doesn't even do that. His grace is consistently sufficient. And Romans said that God's graces continue to go on. It does not have the same level. You cannot say that the person needs to change tomorrow, or else I'm not going to give them grace. You cannot say the person needs to change next week, and you cannot determine the level of change. I just went on Pastor Jamal Bryant's page because last week someone was addressing something that happened in his past. This man is engaged. This man is getting ready to be married, and someone went through his page and dealt with stuff that was in his past and said that how can a prophet, that prophet prophesied, and another prophet said that he shouldn't have got that prophetic word. I know you saw that, Lady Dawn, because you used to be on his page. And this prophet came on his page and said he shouldn't have got a prophetic word because what he did in his past, and he should have had a rebuke word. And when did he repent? Because you didn't see him repent, because you were not in his secret closet, because you were not in his prayer call or his prayer time. You don't think that he's repent, or you don't think that that person is changed because you were not a part of it? No, who are we? That's self-righteousness, which is what Anitra was talking about. That is self-righteousness. People change at the level that they change, and it is not for us to say, well, I'll give you grace if you change. I'll give you grace. No, we are supposed to extend grace to people, and God will do the changing for people, not us, and determine when they should not change. That's not our call. That's not your call. That's not my call. That's not none of our call. Even as pastors, all we can do is bring people to God. People may still go out and still do the same thing. I'm supposed to bring them to God, and I am supposed to be the one that keeps bringing them to God. God deals with the rest, and God does the changing. He helps them to change. We don't put grace. We don't put a time frame on grace. We don't put control on grace. That's the problem. People don't really understand grace to its fullness and to its pureness. We want to judge grace and make grace be what we want it to be. I want it to be this level. I want it to be that level. Then I'll give you grace, or I'll cut it off. No, that's not Bible, and that ain't God.
And at that point, they don't need your grace because I've already made it through without your grace. So what we talking here? I said to someone, in dealing with some things this week has been a really rough week. If I'm being for real, like emotionally, it's been a very rough week. And I said, what has been keeping me and reminding me is that you cannot push someone's process, and you cannot rush their progress. You cannot push a person through their process. You have to let patience have its perfect work, and you cannot rush their progress. You have to let the process move them along into their progress one step at a time, and just continue to encourage them and have patience through it, especially when you see a person trying. Because you don't know the depths and the levels and the layers that people have to go through, like you said, to get to the root of the matter. Why am I thus? What is making me this way? It's harder to dig back down to the root, to dig it up, than it was to lay that foundation. We lay a lot of foundations in life that are fun when we're laying them. But then when it's time to dig them up so we can be better, it's not as much work. It's hard. It's crazy work. It's hard, so we have to apply that grace, period. And if you only have grace for you, then that's not grace at all. I'm just saying. I can't wait till we get we getting over to the ministry channel so I can let y'all preachers loose and be free. I'm just saying. You can look at everything over here. You get everything over here. Let me read through these comments because I want everybody to hear. Yeah, that's coming 2025. 2025 is going down. Y'all better be ready, okay? We're going to go over and have a good time and light up the ministry network, just like we're doing here. And it's still going to be on Thursday night, so we get ready. Gregory said, and some people will never change the way that they see you. That's right. You have to accept that and commit yourselves to living with integrity from this day forward. That's what I had to do. Listen, release it and let it go. You are never going to change how you see me. It is not my job to convince you. It is not my job, because your vision is only limited. Your perspective is minor. In the greatness of who I am, or the greatness of who you are one person in the world. You don't get to set my trajectory. You don't get to set my end goal. That's not how any of this works. So if you are only stuck seeing me in one way, then that's the way you choose to still see me. That's all right. You keep talking to me from behind, not from the front. I'm just saying, as Pastor Chris would say. Bishop said, "Talk, Lady Dawn." I'm just saying, I was talking. That was my preaching moment. I need to get myself some juice and a towel. Take my own offering. That's the okay. Von Eric is the Black Ranger, aka Charlie. Yes, thank you, sir. Because I totally forgot. Bishop says people want grace but don't want to give grace, right? And I wonder sometimes if you really got grace, how do you not know how to give grace? I'm just saying. Think on that. I'm gonna let that rest. I'm just watch your voice, Ken. Watch your voice, because we have a preaching moment here. We could have listen. It's after dark. Stop playing. Carolyn said yes, part 2. Yeah, we're gonna have to have a part 2 because this is really good. We can't even cover it all in one night. I'm just saying we're gonna have to do a part 2 at the beginning of December. Something. Cheryl says. So we have to stop labeling and identifying the person who cheated as a cheater when they have made the change and did the work. Right, because you're identifying a person by what they did, not who they are. How many labels would we be walking with if someone continued to call us by what we did?
Come on.
How many? Listen, I'm not even gonna go there. Y'all wouldn't even want to know because
we can recall a cheater, Mr. President. So
watch your voice. Oh my Lord!
Authority. We're gonna pray for those with authority.
I'm gonna get right. I'm gonna get through these comments. Y'all lighting it up tonight. I ain't mad at this. Like, subscribe, and share, y'all. We talking about Ken Cheaters Change right here with the Thursday Night Squad on the Bravo with Sheila Network. I'm your girl, Lady Dawn B. Pastor Chris says the problem with churchdom is self-righteousness, and the God complex makes it hard for people to change. Watch your voice, sir. Watch your voice. Okay, be careful, because that's a whole sermon and a word that we're gonna have you let loose up in here. He also says they not ready. Yeah, y'all. I don't know if y'all really ready for Thursday nights. I don't know. 2025 is about to be a whole nother level. We going deep. That's what we do in 2025. Zenja asks, what advice can be given to someone who may be cheating and doesn't feel good about it? That's a good question, and I want our panel to answer and respond to that in one moment. She also says, thank God for his grace and his mercy every day. Every day. That is right. That is right. That is right. All right. Now we got to the comments. I want to make sure that everybody had that everyone's comments were read. And I hate to get to the wrap up point because this is so good, but we are going to do it again in December. We're going to bring everybody back in December. So y'all get ready for part 2 because I feel like this conversation is taking on a whole different nature. Thank you, Von Eric. You see what you done started, troublemaker? I'm just saying. And then he want to put on mute, you know.
Don't come on laughing. Come on laughing. Mm-mm.
Right, because ain't nothing funny. So I want to share these few things, and then I want everybody to share. I also wanted Anitra to share her points because she wants to share from her well, and anyone else who wants to share. We're not cutting anybody off. You know, we will be here until we don't need to be here no more. I'm cool with that. But we pretty much covered a lot of the questions that I had. Y'all started out the gate like y'all were ready for real on tonight. There was a question: is it possible to love someone and still cheat on them? And one of the responses was many people have affairs even though they love their partners. And why do people cheat even though they love them? Sometimes it's low self-esteem. There are many different reasons, as Bishop was saying. There are different levels to it. There's different things behind it. Getting to the root of the why. It's not always because someone did something wrong. I think sometimes cheating is a personal thing. You know, it's not because someone did something. Sometimes it's just what's in us. at a particular time and season in our lives. We can do that when we're unsatisfied. We go looking for what will satisfy us in a moment. I like ice cream. Vanilla might be my favorite, but tonight I might feel like strawberry. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go search out some strawberry and leave the vanilla to the side for the next time. You know,
I'm cheating on that vanilla.
Watch it. What the vanilla won't know if I don't. If nobody tells me. What vanilla don't know won't hurt. What vanilla don't know won't hurt vanilla. It just will. I'm faithful. I'm loyal. See, because in strawberry, you got to have vanilla to make strawberry. I'm just saying, it's a base flavor. There's no cheating. It's a perspective of flirting. That's all. Says, can a person ever stop cheating? See what I'm saying? Can a person ever stop cheating? Yes. Someone who has cheated in a relationship can change their behavior and never cheat again. It's important to remember that people can change and that it is possible to rebuild trust in a relationship. And I think in comparison, it goes along with what Pastor Chris was saying and Bishop Claiborne was saying, and even what Vaughn was touching on earlier about our choices. It is possible to rebuild that trust in the relationship when you understand the root of why a person is doing what they're doing, and you figure out if it's a forgivable offense or if it is something that you cannot deal with. Sometimes the solution is you might have to part ways because you don't have the capacity to deal with what has transpired. There are many ways of cheating. There's physical, cyber, financial, micro, emotional. There are affairs. There's opportunistic affairs. There's serial affairs, revenge affairs, as Bishop mentioned, online affairs. I think the hardest level of cheating to get over, and this is just my opinion, is emotional. I find a lot of people struggle with that a whole lot harder than they do with physical. Sometimes, there are many different aspects we have to be mindful of. Perspective, like I shared earlier about how it was perceived. Is flirting considered cheating? Am I flirting? Or is this just how my personality is?
I think as far as what like Pastor Claiborne was saying, getting to the root, I think that is important, but everybody, some people won't. If some people's heart is hard like Pharaoh, they don't care about the root. Only thing they know is you cheated. That's the only thing they have in you. What you did was cross a law or how they define cheating. Their heart is hard like Pharaoh. You ain't gonna don't even try to explain, well, this and this. It's not happening. They won't hear you, nor will they allow it to go to their ears.
Even if they were part of the root.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then it's not on you at that point.
You said even if they're not part of
it, not on you at that point.
Bishop says your relationship can recover from cheating if both people are willing to do the work and if you keep others out of your business. True and true and true again. You have to be willing. No one said forgiveness is easy. But Bishop said, if you are part of the root, you have to take accountability. Are my behaviors pushing you to seek your love and your comfort and your needs in other places? Am I being closed off and hard? Am I pushing you away while you're trying to be open and trying to embrace? If I'm not satisfying your emotional, your spiritual, your mental and physical needs, then I'm not creating an environment for you to remain faithful. I'm doing everything to push you outside of that box, which then I become the root. No, we don't always have to like everything. And this is a rule of thumb I've learned to live by. I don't like everything. Some things hurt, but I will respect a person's choice and their decisions. And then from there, we figure out how to move forward. But if you are part of the problem, you have to take accountability that pushes a person to the other side. Pastor Chris says, if you're bitter, nothing will change. That's right. Exactly. If you are bitter, you are going to push that person away to somebody else, and then you cannot even blame them because this is the environment that you created. No one's going to keep hitting themselves, up against a brick wall. No one's going to keep trying to love you or trying to be open for you, trying to be there for you, and you keep doing the opposite and adding more pressure, more pain. No one wants to be open to their partner, for them to be met by rejection from their partner. If you reject your partner, you're going to push them into somebody else's arms. So sometimes you need to deal with the bitterness, not sometimes, all the time. You need to deal with what's making you bitter so that you don't push that person away, but you bring them closer to you. At least be honest and say, listen, this is how I'm feeling right now. I don't know how to digest it. I don't know how to process it, but I don't want you to leave. And you have to make sure that you're clear and saying, I'm sorry, but like, I can't help how I feel. I'm working through it, but I don't want you to go. I don't want to take it out on you, but I also don't want you to go, because that adds clarity to a situation and the person, is able to adjust themselves. But if you are bitter and you stay in that, nothing is going to change. And you're going to end up in a bad situation. Carolyn says, that part, brother. And Pastor Chris says, church or unchurched, I'm done. I'm done. Listen, y'all, this has been great so far. I'm so serious. We have a part 2. Bishop, don't play with my feelings, all right? Because then I'm gonna cheat on you in the prayer room if you play with my feelings and don't show up when we do part 2. I'm telling, that's right. I said it publicly. You best to show up. I'm pulling out my cards. I don't know how you cheat in the prayer room. I don't know. I'm gonna pray for somebody else. I'm not sure. It didn't even make no sense. It was all I had to work with. But I'm just saying, make sure that you bring yourself back for part 2, Bishop. That's all I'm saying, because this is really good. But Pastor Chris, we know you're gonna be here, so we ain't worried about that. Von Eric, we know you're gonna be here, so we ain't worried about that. We know y'all coming, y'all brings it. Bishop, on the other hand, this ain't Wednesday. I see you, PC. I see you.
I'm in there.
Okay, all right, because we need the whole toxic team back. We need the whole toxic team back.
I'm in there.
So
we're not giving you no grace. We just get all up in here.
Okay, this has been great discussion and opening up, and I think it has been very helpful and impactful to those who are willing to listen, to take heed, and to just hear real people talking from a real perspective about the challenges. Sometimes we rush through these things in conversations, and I don't really want to do that, because so many great points have been brought up. As Pastor Chris brought up bitterness, Bishop Claiborne brought up about the motive. Vaughn, was talking about perspective, and these are things that we need to consider if we are really willing to do the work to show up as better people. This is a good space and place for us to have these real conversations. That's right, ladies, and just say real talk. And be honest, because truthfully speaking, although we are all in ministry and in spaces of leadership, unfortunately, we cannot always have these conversations inside the four walls of the church. So these platforms, it's important that we have this space so that we can start to make these changes in our lives. So tonight we talked about the definition of cheating, different levels and categories. Talk about what can drive or what does drive a person to cheat. We didn't get to talk about, well, we did kind of talk about who's at fault or responsible. We talked about, is cheating justifiable? Is it true that once a cheater, always a cheater? Can a cheater change? If so, how? And if not, why? And we're going to have a part 2 to this, Lord Jesus. Window climbing as well. Von Eric got a whole nother story. We gotta do a whole show for Von Eric. Gregory says, so are we saying that someone can push you to cheat? There is no personal accountability for the cheater's actions, even if they are quote unquote justified. I don't understand that part. I'm saying
I
that
think you should say that for part 2, because he should come up, and because he been putting some good comments in the section, and it'd be nice if he's able to come up so we can get more in depth, explain his questions and his comments. But they great comments.
I'm gonna reach out. Yes, I'm gonna reach out to bro and sis and make sure we find a date and time where they can come on and share as well, because they have been. So briefly to answer the question, are you saying that someone can push you to cheat? I think a person can create an environment that will push you out of the comfort zone and the trust space of the relationship, and that will push you or open you up to be open to other people. Realistically, am I saying it's right? No, but the reality of it is, yes, enough rejection within your relationship will push anyone to go outside of the relationship to get what they need. If you're not getting,
it doesn't escape from them of what they did, though. It doesn't take. It doesn't take it. They still should, you know what I'm saying? They still should get convicted or suffer the consequences, because.
But you cannot make that person not tell you what got them there. Because if that is the case, prime example, my daughter and her, she went through, one of my daughters went through postpartum depression. This is the young man that she was with did not understand postpartum. He didn't know what it was. But 6 months, 8 months, she doesn't want to sleep with him. She's snapping him. She's going, oh, and he is like, what is going? He doesn't know. He's young. He's 27 years old. He doesn't know what is happening, Lady Dawn. He's going through all of these things. He's like, he calls me. Why doesn't she want to be with me? Why does she want to sleep with me? Why is she mad at me all the time? What did I do? Like, he is not understanding that I have to pull back and go into my stuff and start asking other medical questions, and which I kind of figured was, and I had to try to help him, which I still couldn't walk him 100% through it before he had an affair, because I had to try to tell him that she's dealing with this postpartum depression, keep an eye on the kids and stuff like that, because we know people have killed their children during postpartum depression and things like that. In that whole situation, here is what I said about having people in your ear. So now he's got people saying, oh, she must got somebody. Now he's got people saying, so they filling him with stuff that he didn't understand. And then he's trying to talk to her and she can't explain to him. So he's like, why? What is going on? And the more he asked her, the angrier she's getting with him. So here is this young man in this situation of wanting to be with his fiance, because they were engaged, wanting to be with her. 8 months done gone by, going on 9 months. You don't want to sleep with me. You don't want to be with me. You're always mad with me, and I don't understand why. And he went that road. At a gym, while this girl was at the gym, and so he went that road. I had to sit back and I helped both of them. And my daughter took accountability. What saved their relationship by Eric is that my daughter also, he took accountability, but she took accountability that she didn't even understand what she was dealing with. She had 2 other kids. She never went through postpartum. So she didn't even understand it. She didn't know what was going on her own self. And she took accountability that, you know what? I didn't do right. I held you away from me. I didn't want you to touch me. I didn't want you around me for 9 months. So it was accountability on her part that also strengthened the relationship, because he took his accountability, because at first she was just killing him. But when she went to her therapist, listening to her pastor and listening to me, she stepped back and was like, wow, I never even realized that. And she went back and took accountability, which didn't saved their relationship. And I got a wedding coming in 2025 because of that exact same situation. So both people took accountability. That's
so he didn't cheat. He didn't cheat though.
He cheated.
Here we go. We ain't starting the show all over.
But Nita did. She didn't get to speak. So because
because what Mr. Bloomfield, Elder, is asking is 2 different questions. You're asking, can a person be pushed to cheat? Absolutely. Then, like Lady Dawn is saying, the environment for anything. See, we're so stuck on this cheating thing, right? We're so stuck on that's the only unforgivable action, as if when you're doing other things, that I would say there has to be a space for grace. There has to be. There is absolutely no way we can even go through life without grace. And grace is unmerited. We don't deserve it. So why is it that we get to sit in a seat to say who's deserving of grace and who is not? And what actions can be considered gracefully given and what cannot? That is taking on the seat of God. You have put yourself in the seat of God by saying this must demand this action. When grace is for the process for a person, it is for the process. It is for, that's why it is given to us. Mercy is granted to us every day, because if we did not have it, none of us would be here.
And that's
so
true.
When you say, can someone be pushed to cheating? Absolutely. I'm a testimony of it. There is no personal accountability for a cheater's action, even if they are justified. Yes, there is personal accountability. You have to. You can't, those are two distinct different things. You cannot tie and marry those things. You cannot do that. Here is the thing. And the reason why I'm so adamant, I told Lady Dawn this, I sent her, I said, I feel like God is just putting me in these places to just open and expose myself. But because I have been healed, I am set free. So I cheated, but I am not a cheater. Okay? I absolutely did. My ex-husband cheated on me. And I eventually and there was twofold. It was a vindictive motive for me. I got to the point where I did not care. And I'm like your ex-wife, I'm going to show you how it feels. I want you to hurt just like I hurt. But another thing that I looked at that happened was the fact that I realized that this person had always been a safety net for me. I never actually fully closed the door, because I was not, I married very young, and came in with a lot of baggage, but I didn't fully yield myself over to my marriage. Now, vulnerabilities, I always had a certain wall up, and I had to go through therapy to figure out where it was coming from. It was so much deeper than I had imagined how I got to this point. And I was very self-righteous, because I used to say, I don't know how anybody could cheat. I was very self-righteous, and I used to be very condemning when it came to cheaters. And guess what I found myself in the spot of? And that's why I said we have to be so very careful, because you don't know what can drive you into a space. You don't know what headspace you'll be in. You don't know. Take for instance, that guy, Wesley Snipes, was dealing with grief. So I'm a grief counselor for the Air Force as well. And he was dealing with an immense pain. Basically, he was letting go of a spouse while she was still alive. So there is so much behind it. And I want to, and I'm telling you, I'm so passionate about this, because I see it. I see how doors are open, and I also know how doors need to be closed. And I can see both sides of this thing. And the thing about it is, I'm passionate because I don't want anybody else to go down a road that I went down. And I also want people to understand that it hurts the cheater. When I actually did go into the act, I was devastated in myself. I could not believe I allowed myself to get, and then I had to figure out, how did I even get here? What brought me here? And when I got to that point, I had a lot of self-loathing, a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, disgust in myself. So I understand the fact of, when you want to start cheaters, you need to have self-discipline, and you need to until you step inside a person. So that when I'm saying be careful, because I was that person. This is all you need to do. And I ended up on the other side. So the scripture is clear. It says, you got to be careful, lest you fall into temptation yourself. And I'm careful about my words, about what I will say and what I will and will not do. And I am very graceful to those who fall in that situation, because I understand how you can get there. Years of emotional abuse, years of just all of this, and then this in and out going on took me down a path that I never imagined I would be on. Now I got to see both sides of this thing, but in my journey, I learned to help people in this space. And I learned to, for those looking into this situation, to say, be very careful, extend some grace. Think about the one thing that was your issue. Like Lady Dawn said, if someone hadn't been there for you, salvation came because someone gave us the space for grace. Someone gave us a opportunity to live past what and who we were. I really stand here now and say, yes, I did cheat. I am not a cheater. And that is a road I will not go down again. Prayerfully. It is not, it is, I am conscious. I am self-aware. There are certain things I put in place for myself because, like you, Lady Dawn, I'm very friendly, but I'm very careful. I'm more aware now. So like I'm conscious to the way a man looks at me. If I start to see something a little different, I would like, okay, I can't be as friendly with you because there is something in you that I'm picking up on. So I will back. I'm still going to be myself, but I'm going to kind of refrain because I know there's something in you that may be off a little bit. So I wanted to share that, and we can get into it in December. And December is one of the other best months of the year because your girl, that's her birthday. All right. So we'll chop it up then too. But I'm passionate about this because even those that I've been cheated on, and it is hurtful. It is painful. And you do have to have the capacity to walk through this place with grace. But we do not have, and I'm going to say this openly, we do not have the right. I don't feel like I have the right to judge a person on the actions that they took unless I want that same measure of judgment on the things that I did that was not right. I want to be careful in that instance. And I always come from a place where I want to be, when I say righteous, I want to have a viewpoint of not right or wrong, find out what happened and how do we get from that point. I agree totally, Mr. Michael, sir, coach, bishop, prophet, all that, because he done took his hat off. But I agree, you have to get to the root cause of things, but you do have to allow people, one, who, if you've been cheated on, we do have to allow you to hurt. You have to allow that person to hurt and to grieve. That's a grieving process as well. Mm-hmm. But when people are trying to change, labeling them and keeping them, like Lady Dawn said, trying to keep a person stuck to their past, that is now on you. And I believe that 100%. Anybody because in any story, we were once the victim. In the victim, everybody has a story. There is somebody in our life that would say, she was the victimizer. He was the victimizer. So we always have to, I just want us to really think about always trying to put a person in something they did, whether it hurt us directly or it indirectly, because we could be indirectly affected by it, right? We can know people. So now, girls, we want to stand together and we're going to be toxic together. I'm not that girl. I'm going to say right now, I'm not that girl. I'm not going to be toxic with you.
We can't trauma bond. Right.
I'm not going to trauma bond with you. What we're going to do is, what can we do to move forward? How can I help you heal? But I'm not going to stay stuck in your trauma, and I'm not going to go down to the toxic ways.
I think that's a wisdom. Your answer was a lot of wisdom in your answer. Part two, I would like to expand because I think there's a lot of answers within that question. And it depends. I agree 100% when you say judge. We should not judge, especially we have to watch where our heart is, because sometimes that pain that we went through, it causes.
We speak from it.
And we judge and then go at a person with a vindictive, vicious heart. And we don't know where that person's at. And it could cause that person to go deep within a depression and keep on going what they're doing. So yes, I agree. I think we should look at that person's heart, like Pastor Claiborne, get to the root of the problem, and then judge accordingly, and give the wisdom words that God give to you to give to that person, so they able to expire and move on to what they're going through. But like in Ecclesiastes, it says it's a time and a place for everything. Some people need a harsh criticism or a harsh thing to get through what they're going through. Some people use certain situations as a victimizer to be the claimed victim, and that helps them to keep going what they're doing. You see what I'm saying? So we must be mindful of that too. You see what I'm saying? Be mindful. Look where that person is. Look how they're doing. Look at their reaction, what they're doing, consistency. Because some people, like the Bible says, you can fool man, but you can't fool God. But if you led with that spirit of wisdom, God will tell you what this person's heart is. And then you must give the words according to where the heart is giving you. Because some people need hard criticism or need a hard affliction to get through that problem. And some people don't. You see what I'm saying? Some people, like you said, Anitra, you've been through it. Everybody in here been through the ups and downs and been through cheating and has cheated. And our heart is, we just don't want to see that person to go through that. You see what I'm saying? We don't want to see you to go through that pain. And that's a good heart to go by. But then we must be aware that pain that we went through made us who we are today. And some people may need to experience that pain so they can be where we are and how we look at things and how we have grown. So it's like God judges on the heart and the way the heart accordingly. And I think we should do and make sure we be mindful, like Anitra said, and like Brother Claiborne, Pastor Claiborne said, and Chris, we got to be mindful what we went through and how we got through it. You see what I'm saying? That's 100%, because we don't make a judgment and then go at a person with a vicious heart. Oh man, that can really take a person into a depression state. It's a woman that jumped off the Niagara Falls because she felt that she wasn't loved and she went through and it was cheating going on and what she jumped off and with her kids, took the kids with her.
Right.
So that's why we have to watch. I'm like, what did her parents say to her, or what did anyone say to her? Did they go at her and say, you need to do this, you better do this, you need to do that? You just hurt the person and you stomping the person with a hammer on their heart when we do certain things like that. We must be mindful of that.
And that's true. I think everybody, I'm sorry, I just want to read some comments while we're in here because I don't want anyone to I don't want any comments to go unmentioned. And this has been great. And I love the transparency that we're all sharing. And I'm going to piggyback off of what they said in a second. But Cheryl Green and Zindy was saying it's a great discussion. This is what we're here for, to have these moments. These moments are healing and beneficial to each one of us, on the panel. We're sharing. The more we tell our stories, the more that we are real about the process. I want you to see me in my perfected state. I never want you to look at me and think that, oh, Lady Dawn, I was in a situation where I used to look at some people that I knew that I admired for where they were, and their relationship was so tight with God, and it just seemed like everything was perfect with them, and it made me feel unworthy. Like, I don't think I could ever get to that point. I will never be to where they are. And then life happened and years went by. And when I saw them again, it threw me for a loop because I realized they are still in the space where I was looking up to them at. And I had already surpassed where they were. So I wasn't even looking at them eye to eye. And I'm not saying this negatively, so hearing the spirit in which is given. But I was looking down on them because I had already passed the place where I admired you from. I'm saying that to say, while we are on these podcasts and while we are sharing in this space, none of us, and I feel I can say for all of us, never want anyone to look at us as though we have arrived and we are at a perfected state. We are all sharing our real, raw, some of us in real time emotions, situations, circumstances, and consequences that we are going through right now. And that's why I say this platform is real talk. with real resolutions. We are not hiding nothing. You're seeing our vulnerabilities, because until we are transparent and tell somebody else what we've been through and what we are going through, we cannot help anyone else grow or have an impact that's going to change your life and encourage and inspire someone else. In the example Vaughn's talking about, the woman who may have jumped, guess what? Someone may not even have had to say anything to her. She may not have had a safe space in order to even share. That may have been the problem, that she didn't even have the opportunity because no one made themselves available. So not only was she dealing with what she was dealing with a level of rejection from not having anyone who she thought would look at her the same, who would not change their views or start to pull away from her. So yes, we have to be very careful that we embrace one another. I'm not intrusive and I'm not insertive. I don't insert myself into a space, but I try to let people know that I'm available for you. There is nothing that you can do that's going to make me, if I love you, I love you, period. I'm going to love you through your right, through your wrong. I'm going to help you, whatever. And there's nothing that's ever going to change that, good, bad, or indifferent. And we have to show up for people that way. Even if you never got that. I don't think that that's an excuse that I can't give what I did not get. No, what you can do is remember how you felt when you were the one who was lacking, and then give that. Give that person that in which they need, because those moments will help prevent people from ending up in these spaces and being in these situations. You know, some of this is preventive, you know, and these conversations are absolutely helpful. So I'm grateful for the comments. We were talking about great discussion. Again, we're healing ourselves even as we're here. Bishop said sometimes we don't know what the person who cheated is dealing with within themselves, which is true. Pastor Chris says, mic drop, grief is real. It can drive you to a space you don't even realize until it's too late. There is no emotions involved, period. Just ice cold, just keeping it real. Bishop says, Pastor Chris, so true. Grief is a dark place. It absolutely is. And we all grieve differently and for different reasons. There are many losses that we incur. So we cannot judge one another based on the space that we're in at the time. Cheryl Green says, love your transparency. She was speaking about you and your story, Anitra. Pastor Chris says, that part, ace, mic drop. Zen just says, whatever the root is, none of us
should judge.
Thank you. None of us are in a position to judge. Y'all forgive me. You know, I'm old now. My eyes are getting bad. But
you're seasoned, right? Gracefully seasoned.
Listen, I'm getting ready to cross over to grace plus grace. Okay, so
gracefully seasoned. My kid is gracefully seasoned.
Okay, hey, listen, don't hate on this. Okay, do not hate on this.
Oh no, I can't. Hey, we definitely not hate that.
I'm look, we'll scratch your eyeballs out. Remember last week?
I clean it a little bit sometimes, but I just wanted to, I do want to thank everybody for sharing so far. And I want us to, again, we're going to do this again in December, maybe the first Thursday in December. We will pick up on part 2 right after the holiday, because I don't want too much of a gap of time to go by for us to come on and share some more in this, because this is great content. And also in December, we're going to be talking about growing through grief. I did this segment last year during the holiday seasons, especially because there are a lot of people, it's not joyful for everybody, and so we have to be sensitive. But I do want to say this before we go around, and Bishop, I know you wanted to share, and I'm gonna give you space to do so, and I'm sorry, I just needed to get through these comments, but I do want to thank Anitra for her share, and I will quickly piggyback on that, and also in conjunction with Gregory's questions. I've been in that space for a different reason, and I will say, in being transparent, when I talk about the changes of my life and having why I am somewhat disciplined or strict with myself in certain areas, it's because, again, there was a time when I wasn't. I've learned not to do everything that may feel good to me in a moment, but is going to be bad for me in the long run. You know, I learned not to open myself up to any and everything that my mind may think of. It's not that I don't see it, and it's not that I don't, that I'm not aware, but I've just learned not to chase after everything that may show me some type of interest. You know, you got to look for quality at a certain point instead of quantity. I will say this, in my experience in my marriage, I knew the root of, I know why I married, and I married from, as Pastor Chris was saying, about bitterness. I know what it's like to be on the edge of being bitter. I had to really pray about it, because if God would have allowed, if I would have gone and did what I wanted to do in the midst of the marriage, in the moment, it would have rooted bitterness in my heart, and God let me know I would never be the same. And it was going to be such a deep-rooted, dark place that I was not going to come back from, because that was the depth of my hurt. And in my marriage, when infidelity happened, well, actually, I was engaged and infidelity happened. I was pregnant and infidelity happened. And I got married after. And where I was, when Anitra mentioned about you don't know where a person's mind is, my mindset was this, and I can say it today because I'm free, I'm liberated. He knows, you know, I'm totally like, this ain't his story, this is my story. Like, sir, I don't know what yours is, this is mine. But I made up in my mind, I was so hurt about the infidelity because this was someone that I held down for a long period of time. You know, I'm not the type I'm not the hit it, quit it. I'm the long run. I'm the ride or die. Like, I got you. We're going to ride till the wheels fall off, and then we're going to find 4 more and put it back and we keep going. So it wounded me really hard. I did no wrong, but the wrong was done to me. And the bitter place that I was in all honesty, I said, okay, I knew how to get back, you know, to him if I wanted to. I knew what to do to get back into the relationship. Oh, I was patiently plotting. Like, okay, I'm going to tell you straight. I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure I'm going to smooth it over. I'm going to make sure everything is good. I'm going to make sure, you know, you back up. But yeah, I forgive you, babe. Like, we good. Like, let's talk about, like, okay, you know, we good. I promise you, I forgive you. Did all the loving things. Bitterness and anger in my heart. Because this was the setup. I was like, yep, I'm going to wait. We're going to get married still. And that's what we did. And then my whole plot was, I'm going to marry you. I'm going to make sure that you open and make sure that you are in a loving space, in a safe space, and that you are trusting that I forgave you and all of that. And as soon as you get to that place where you are single, where you are free and open and you are off guard and you are, you know, just all deep in love, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat on you in this house, and I'm going to make sure that you come home while I'm cheating, because I want you to see it. Because like Anitra said, I want you to hurt, not like I hurt. I want you to hurt more. I wanted you to hurt deeper. I wanted this to be a memorial unto what you did to me, so that you never forget it, to the point where it ruins you going forward, so you never do it again to anybody else. That's where I'm being honest. That's where my mindset was. Got married and all of that. Was in the marriage and all of that. And every day God was, the Spirit was dealing with me daily, and I was ignoring. I was like, nope. Nope. I was like, because you could deal with me after I fulfill my plot. God said, after you fulfill your plot, I won't need to deal with you, because you'll be too far gone. And it's not that God can't bring you back, or whatever your moral compass is can't bring you back. But I would have enjoyed it so much to the point it would have become who I am.
Come on.
Not just a part of me. It would be, that is who I would be.
Come on.
And so I struggled. So this is why I'm saying, like, I struggled through that, to the point where, nope, I didn't want you to touch me. When we were intimate or whatever, I cried, because I felt like I was going to throw up in my mouth, because everything in me was so disgusted with the situation. And it was about where I was at. And I'm being honest. I'm being like, I don't even share this. I think I've shared this a few times. This is the first time I'm sharing it, but I'm saying it because I'm hoping it will help somebody. And it's real where I was at. So when people think that, you know, I haven't been through something, or, you know, people think that, you know, oh, I'm just so innocent and have never done. No, that is not the truth. I'm like, I just don't wear it on my sleeve, because I had to learn.
Yeah.
and I had to save me. Because if I let everything that goes through my mind, and I'm the type, I'll get quiet. So you won't even know. You won't even know. You will be none the wiser. I will get quiet. Okay. No problem. I got you. This is why I say women, in some senses, we learn the game of cheating. Or in my case, it was I learned how to cheat because I watched how you did it. And then I just turned around and did it better. I just played your game better. But I didn't want that to be who I am, because that wasn't who I am. And so I had to remove myself from the marriage, because honestly, giving myself to someone else just to cheat, that wasn't going to make me feel better. It wasn't going to fix what was broken. It wasn't going to solve the problem. It was not going to reverse what had already happened. And then I would have lost myself on top of that. So for me, cheating has never been worth it. I remember the pain of what it was like to be cheated on. And that's why for me, I said I would ask questions. I will pause. I will ask questions. And I would rather not get that deep in. And if I feel like I'm in a relationship and it gets to a point where I feel like I have to take that route, then I'm going to remove myself, because I don't want to lose myself. You know, I'm not going to cheat. That's too many lies. It's too much weight and too much pressure just on my mind and on my heart and on my spirit. And that is not what I want. So I'm just saying, I'm being completely honest when we're talking about cheating. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, at all, but it's the truth of where I was and how the sensitivities, of you don't know why, like Bishop said, you don't know why a person does what they do, and the motive is different, so I just wanted to share that on top of what Anisha had already shared. And this has been great. Like I said, look for part 2 in early December. I want to give space for everybody to share their thoughts, final comments, all of that. Let me see. Bishop says, Lady Dawn, your story is the reason why I say all cheating is not created equal. Absolutely. It was not. I'm like, bruh, what we do you know how amazing I am within my whole self? What's wrong with you? No, I'm just playing. I am kind of nice, though. I am kind of nice. Listen, if you don't celebrate you have to know. Pastor Chris said something, I don't remember which platform we were on, but he said, I think it was last week, he said about valuing yourself, knowing your value and knowing your worth. I'm not saying I'm better than the next person or any worse than the last person. I'm just saying I'm the best Dawn every day that I can possibly be, flaws and all. Perfectly placed imperfections. I am being the best me that I can be on any given day. That's all I got. Either you rock with it or you can't. But what I'm not going to do is let anybody deduct from my value that I've already built up. I'm an asset, and I know that. I pride myself as such, and we all should. So you don't have to tolerate anything that you do not want to. Bishop also says there was a root cause to why you was there. Absolutely. And the root cause, that's a whole nother story, y'all. You don't even know that tonight. You said you was in pain and you wanted to numb the pain by inflicting more pain on someone else. I did. And it wasn't misdirected either. It was, I'm never going to take out on somebody else, the next person, what the last person did. No, I'm going to let you sit in your own pain. I'm going to give this, what it was you gave me this pain. I want to give you back what belongs to you. Just like I'm returning a library book. I'm going to give it back to you. I'm just going to give it back to you in a different condition. That's all. It's just going to be, that's how I am. But, I'm reformed. I'm reformed. That's my word, right, Bishop? That's where I'm reformed. I'm reformed. I'm saying for real now, y'all. I'm reformed. I'm better. My whole heart is healed. I've done my work. I promise you. That's why I can talk about it now from those.
I'm hearing cracking in that voice, though. I'm hearing a little
because it's tricky. I am reformed. I'm reformed. No, I'm not out to hurt nobody. That's the thing. I'm really loving, and I'm not out to hurt. When I love you for real. Like I do, with my whole heart. That's how I show up. And again, because there's that grace that we kept sticking with tonight. That's what I know. That's the only way God taught me. He taught me to love people, treat people how he treats me, not how other people treat, how he treats to the best of my ability. And I'm trying, and I'm trying at whatever the cost. God said, yeah, it hurt me, but it cost me my son. So whatever and so if I'm crying about because my feelings is hurt, and God is like, I gave up more than a feeling. I gave up a piece of me. So when I put it in that perspective, I'll be like, oh man, all right. I'll be like, give me the capacity, Lord. You know, tell me the words to say. It's a process. It's a process, you know, because we have to heal each other. We have to learn how to start healing each other. There's pieces of y'all that I need to help heal me and vice versa, you know. So this has been great conversation. I'm going to yield my mic. We're going to go around the room. Coach Claiborne, Anitra, Pastor Chris, Vaughn, since you started this topic, it's your own fault. We're going to let you have your final words. So come on, Coach. Your final words, and then Anitra, and then Pastor Chris, and then Vaughn.
Let me just be a little bit toxic. I ain't coming back on here with you cheaters. Oh, y'all is cheaters. I'm not about to come back on here.
You coming back, King of Cheaters.
I wanted to rub off on me. All y'all telling y'all transparent stories.
You is not saved. You is
I
not
don't want that
saved.
spirit to rub off on me. I'm going to try to find me some blessed oil.
Tomorrow in the prayer room, but not tonight.
I'm trying to find me some oil by Eric. Like, what is going on in this show? People, I'm trying to. I'm gonna really be in prayer tomorrow. I'm gonna be crying and everything. I'll be like,
You was gonna do that anyway.
You gonna start tonight tomorrow. That don't even make no sense. Who does a pre-cry?
I will be calling Jesus tomorrow. Lord, I will be calling. Wash me, God. Wash this cheating spirit off of these. So,
okay, you don't come back for part two.
A tremendous topic that people don't. And I actually am glad that I am on here with people who have had experiences, because at least these 5 people right here are not judgmental. They're able to share, knowing what it is to be on both sides, knowing what it is to feel. I too, as fine as I am, Lady Dawn, I've been cheated. I've been cheated on. and I would have been mad until I saw when she cheated with me. I was like, what? Good girl. Pastor Chris, I wasn't even mad. I was like, really? When you go down from a Rolls Royce to a Pinto, I feel bad for you. I actually felt really, really bad.
Wow.
So you know, I mean, we've been here, and you guys are. I love the fact is that we're able to not only be transparent, not only to share, but not only to get to a place of resolution, because we have always criticized this particular act. And I love what I thought Anitra was going to go a little bit more in depth into it, is because we have no grace for the cheater, but we want grace for the person who may cause the cheating. We see, as Von Eric say, that person don't even want to accept. It don't matter. It don't matter if I withheld. It don't matter if I was being mean to you. It doesn't matter if I was being controlling. It doesn't matter if I never complimented you. You know, I know women who have cheated because their husbands don't have any affirmation, no any compliment. He never noticed her hair. He never noticed her new perfume. He never noticed her nails. He is so oblivious. He don't compliment her. He doesn't, see that she's trying to lose weight. All he does is pick on her, and you're getting bigger, and you're getting this, and this woman's self-esteem has been broken down in her home, and then she goes to work, and the guy at the elevator is like, "That's a new perfume."
Work husband.
He notices it, or the girl that be like, "You've been working, and you've been going to the gym, and your wife ain't noticed the whole time that you've been going to the gym and trying to do this." And so the people that got into that space, but I do appreciate the fact that we are having a real conversation. Not only are we talking about it, we are very clear. None of us agree with cheating. We are not saying cheating. As a matter of fact, we totally say it's wrong. I mean, I'll stand here and say that it's absolutely wrong. Have I been in that space? Absolutely. I've been in that space. I've been in that space, and I have been on both sides of the track in that space. So we're not saying that, but I think that with anything, I'm just so big, Pastor Chris. What's the root of this? This has been going on forever. This has been going on because whether we want to say it or not, David was a cheater. We don't want to get, we never put that in there. We never zing him with that, but we still preach out of his Bible. We still speak about him. We still celebrate him. But David was a cheater. God called him a cheater. Nathan the prophet calls him a cheater because of the mere fact is that you had 3,000 concubines, you had all of these wives, and God said to Peter, if you wanted more, I would have given you more if you wanted more. But you went over here and cheated with this woman. David was a cheater, and he's in the Bible, and he's in the lineage. But and if he was here today, he'd be on social media, he'd be on Larry Reed, he'd be on all the bloggers. If David was here today, nobody would be preaching about David. They would say he wasn't a man to God. They would say that he wasn't anointed. They would say that he wasn't called by God. Because when we hear, it's amazing that the pew won grace, but they killed the pulpit. Okay, I'm coming back for the second half. It's amazing. It's amazing that they killed the pulpit, that they destroyed the preacher, but the
kill Pastor Chris right now.
I just heard my voice. Watch your voice, Claiborne. I'm about to clean up on aisle 5, 6, 7.
I was going to say, watch your voice. Watch it because PC is about to come through the.
It's shifted. It's time for me to go because it's shifted. Because it's amazing how we have these areas and these places and these things. But understand that if David was here today, he'd be all over social media. They would be dogging him. They would be talking about it. They would say he's not anointed. But look, what does God say about it? God said no. While David did all this, he was a man after my own heart. He was a man after my own heart. You don't know what we've been saying, Lady Dawn, for a week in our room. God knows my heart. You don't know God's heart. You don't know man's heart. God knows the heart of a man. And the other piece that I love, and I will end with this. Here is a scripture, Pastor Chris, by Eric, Anitra, Lady Dawn, that people kill me, that they don't quote no more. The Bible says, if you see your brother overtaken with a fault, it's not cheating a fault that he was overtaken with, that she was overtaken with. The Bible says, which tells me this is not everybody. The Bible says, which are spiritual.
I was about to go to that part.
Restore such a one. It said, put him back. It said, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering your own self.
He didn't say down.
They must not be righteous because a lot of church folks will kill you. A lot of church folk will destroy you. A lot of church folk will pull you down. They won't even, but you saw me overtaken with a fault. But you and your self-righteous self could not restore me back to the spirit. The Bible said, in the spirit of meekness. In the spirit of meekness. In the spirit of meekness. I know this happened to my brother or my sister. But my job, according to the scripture, is to restore them. Put them back in that place. Have grace upon them. So all of this self-righteousness is not what God looks for us to do. The Bible says, you that are righteous, not self-righteous, you that are righteous, restore such a one. We don't want to live the scripture into the fullness unless it coming from us. John says it just like this. The Bible said, forgive your brother. The brother cheat, the scripture said, forgive your brother because you want God to forgive you. God said, I can't forgive you if you don't forgive them. I'm done, Lady Dawn. I'm closing the room. I'm turning off the light. I'm locking the door.
Listen, well, I felt a little. I found my David. I found my David in me. Okay, he was a cheater and a plotter. I'm just saying. I had a whole plan. I had a whole plan. Come on, Anitra. Come on, share your final thoughts, and then we got Pastor Chris and Juan Eric behind.
Okay, I can't even call him Michael. The bishop done brought a whole word, but the reason why we can look at David, because we see the totality of David's life. Because we can't see the person's end from their beginning, then we want to judge, and that's the issue. But I am still in the process. I am still becoming. Being made perfect. I'm maturing every day, and that's why we have grace. So I just want to piggyback on that, Bishop, because that was actually, I always say that about David. We talk about and we praise him to no ends, but David was he was a whole something. But I will say this. Yes, my story is there really to encourage and to help me and my, and even with my ex, you're right. I had to extend him grace because there was things that I did that caused him to go outside of the marriage. And you have to take that responsibility as well. So I just want really just to say, be mindful when we're dealing with people because we don't know where they're at. We don't know what's going on mentally with them. And we're not supposed to be the vindicator of man. God says he will vindicate. And the reason why God vindicates is because he knows the heart. We don't know if people are repentant of not. We don't know if they're changing. We have no idea. So you want to always yield a space for grace. And that's where I'll end.
All right, come on with the space for grace on top of the plot and cheater. Oh, come on here, the encounter and the experience. Y'all already know.
I've been sitting back and I've been going through all these changes. It is anniversary month this month for me. And the reason why I am bringing this up because my whole life changed 2 years ago, right? And when you expect people that are in the church and also you expect people that you were involved with at the time and they drop you like a hot potato on a Sunday morning, it doesn't feel good. And when you are wallowing with all this, you're pressured to still, and I know Bishop can probably agree with what I'm about to say. When your anointing or your gift is more important than your healing, that's a problem. So I had to go through the last 2 years and still currently dealing with emotional turmoils. I feel good one week, next week I feel terrible. One week I feel cold, the next week I'm fine. And then it gets closer and closer to the anniversary date. I feel colder than a meat locker in New York City. I mean, I have no emotion. And it's because if you never knew what it was like to feel these things, because I was always that person that, oh, depression's that's for weak people, or grieving's for weak people, and all, that's how I thought before I had to go through the process. Now, this is where we're talking about self-righteousness, right? Because when we learn all these tools in our seminaries or who we were under and things like that, we build the God complex, little g, right? So we feel as if we've elevated so high that we can touch the sky, so to speak. But when life be lifing, yeah, I said it, it hits you so different. And when you have to still process through the pain and still pour out your spirit to people after the lights are off, after you finish preaching the most dynamite sermon you probably ever preached in your life, you got to go back home by yourself and deal with all the other stuff that you deal with, not only preparing the word, not only fasting and praying and seeking God to give you downloads. You are not only ministering to the people, you are ministering to yourself to keep your sanity. Now, I'm saying a lot, but there's a point to all this. When you can recognize, and I said this earlier, you have to recognize where you are. Am I saying that it's great? Let's get a big banner and say, yes, cheaters are great. No, that's not what I'm saying. But you have to identify the issue. Now, I've made some mistakes in the last 2 years, and I made very cold decisions. I'm going to sit here and be real with it because I was bleeding, literally, to death. I had no clue how to handle nothing. So I did what Chris thought was good for Chris to survive, because I was on cardiac arrest. I was losing blood spiritually and physically. So how in the world can I give my all to someone else when I still have half of a heart? Right? Now, it's not that I don't have a heart. It's not that I don't want to have a relationship. Do I want to steer back into the cheating phase? That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that we have to be real enough to identify what is going on. And I had to realize that Chris was messed up from the floor up, and he ain't been the same since. But I can say this now, just like Anitra was transparent. I can be transparent in my story. Why? Because I know someone's watching and they probably feel the exact same way. And because they make decisions, they're labeled as a cheater, a womanizer, being blasted on social media. I just went through all that, and I'm still going through that till this present day. But you don't understand what you did either, right? If you're supposed to be a man or woman of God, we're not supposed to be dropping or bleeding on people. That's one. Two, if you are really down for me, per se, I'm just using me as an example. Why did you drop me in the middle of the worst time of my life, right? I'm saying all this to say this. We have to stop the nonsense, because pastors go through a lot. Bishops go through a lot. We take a lot of stuff in from you and we internalize it to give you breakthrough, right? Makes sense. But we're still holding it and we're still balancing our own lives in the middle of your life and the middle of our mandate that we have with God. All these things that we're juggling, but yet in the center of it all, I got half of a heart. Does that make any sense? But the analogy that was made with David is so on point, because the fact of the matter is God doesn't care about your title. He don't care how much money you make. He don't care if you could preach the house down or not. He don't care about none of that stuff. He cares about your heart posture. And I am adamant about that, because if it wasn't for the heart posture that I have for God, I would be a Looney Tune right now. And I'm being real with that, because the fact of the matter is, it was God's love that kept me alive before what happened. It was God's love that kept me sane to current day. Am I physically gonna feel this? Yes, anyone would. But the fact of the matter is, I know I have to continue to live, and I'm not done with what God has called me to do. So you may not like my approach. You may not like the way I deliver it. It's okay, because I come from a place of healing. I come from a place of understanding the process of life and applying the scriptures to life, because we don't do that in some of our social circles in church. We do a lot of nice talking, but we don't give principles. How do I deal with grief, Bishop? I'm trying to have relationships and I'm just cutting people's necks off because they're getting too close because I'm feeling some kind of way. We don't give no balance. We just say, well, the Bible says, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful by my comment, but all I'm saying is we're not giving practical anything. And then you get mad at folks that are being transparent. You get mad at shows like this that have pastors and bishops on the panel that is telling you the real deal Holyfield, but you rather switch the channel because it ain't enough gossip or mess, or is encouraging you to do whatever you feel like you want to do. The fact of the matter is, recognize what you got to recognize. That will help you tremendously. Will you get a change instantaneously? For some people, yes, but it's a process. This whole thing is a process. And when you understand each level of the process and you can deal with the different changes without losing yourself completely, you've already made it halfway home. And just like he was saying with the lady that jumped off, she probably never had anybody to say anything to her. I know what that feels like. But the one thing that I must, okay, I need to stop because I'm really starting to get a little, yeah. So I just want to encourage somebody out there that it's okay to feel how you feel, but be authentically you. Don't put your mask on. Don't change for anybody. If you don't feel a certain way, be honest. Because honesty has gotten a lot of people out of my life. And they don't like the fact that I'm vocal. They don't like the fact that, Chris, y'all blasting me over social media. So, hey, why not? Let's roll with this, baby. Let's do it. So that's why I'm the way I am, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you think, and everybody else thinks. As long as God is continuing to favor my life and I can bless somebody else with my testimony and my story, and they can see what God can do with a broken-hearted mess like me, and I can still pour love to the people that are listening, that's only half the battle. Because when I become completely whole, baby, Bishop Claiborne, we might have to start a revival because they ain't gonna like what we gotta say. And I'm done.
Thank you for your share, Pastor Chris. And there you have it, the encounter and the experience. And this is why. Tell you, we're going to get across the street to the ministry channel to let these preachers loose. It's still going to be on a Thursday night. But thank you for your share, Pastor Chris. Thank you for your transparency and your realness, for your authenticity. And again, your transparency, and I would just say to anybody, I said this on an interview. That's one of the things that I think Bishop Claiborne likes, or it was effective or impactful when I said, the heart is built to bounce back, is what we have to remember. Our hearts, although they've been broken for many different reasons in different places, they are built to bounce back. So no matter how much of a heart you have left, think of it like this. God always gives you what you need. And sometimes the pieces that break off were the pieces that were weighing on us the most. Some of the pieces that broke off were pieces that were never meant to be there. When your foundation is being rebuilt, you only start with the tools that are needed to get you strong. So you always have enough to start over. It may not be everything that you started with, but you have the best of you to begin again. So always be encouraged. Again, you are not what you did. You are who you are. We have all been on both sides of the coin. So therefore, don't stay stuck. Let people bookmark where they left you at. It's not your place to recover that. It's not your place to explain it, and it is not your place to carry it on. Everyone has a right to live and live again, and to love again, and love healthy and good from those spaces. So thank you for sharing. Really impactful on tonight. This has been good, real good. I appreciate everyone on this panel so very much. And yes, these conversations don't always yield a whole lot of people, but I realize we are called to who we are called to. Jesus started out with 12. He didn't start out with a whole mega church and all that. He took 12 and overtook the world. So I'm good with the 12, with those who he's called me to. Trust and believe, because when you build up those which God has called you to, they are infections and will build others. Disciples beget disciples. So we're going to send each other out of here whole. Okay, that's what we're gonna do on the Thursday Night Squad. So I want to leave space for the troublemaker of this topic tonight, who brought it to the platform. None other than the Black Power Ranger, Sir Vaughn, vanishing mystery man, Mr. Invisible Eric himself. Come on and share your final comments, sir.
Oh man, it's been a pleasure. This discussion was great tonight. even had a sermon. Pastor Prince and Bishop Claiborne. You can't get no better than that. When you get a good discussion and a sermon at the end, that lets you know Jesus Christ was in the building. That definitely lets you. So, but I appreciate being on a panel with all these brothers and sisters. It's not a lot that I had to say because there was so much wisdom that just been spoken before me. There's no need me to go any further because of the wisdom that God brought by the Holy Spirit and everyone on the panel. And everybody in the chat tonight, great questions, great answers that you gave. It really inspirational. It really uplifting that the different comments that's been in the chat. I hope and pray next time in part 2 that some of y'all come on up or whatever, just stay in the chat and those questions is wonderful. You just don't know. Gregory Bloomfield, I love his questions because it has a lot of answers and it makes you think. There's a lot of answers in his questions, so much love and respect and everybody else. Bishop Claiborne, if you remember, when you talked about your daughter, when she had to postpone him, because we spoke about that, I believe Monday, I think, if you remember, Lady Dawn, we spoke on that. I would like to know as far as, because I don't know, and the women can build on that because I don't know, because I know articles, so excuse my ignorance. When your daughter was under that, is it actually her fault if what she was doing? I would like to know that because she felt that there's something wrong. But I would like to know, was she actually at fault because she was under something spiritual? Maybe I don't know. The women can bounce.
It's a physical. It's an emotional thing, and that they can't control. They don't even know where it comes from. Some women actually have to take pills to bring that balance because it's a depression. It's a deep hole. And so some women had to take, as a matter of fact, when it first came to play, I don't know if you remember, I don't know your age or stuff, but I think it was Brooke Shields when it first, and all the actors was making fun of her. And what are you talking about? There's no such thing. And they come to find out that it's a real. I have 5 daughters. I've never experienced it with their mothers. And my that's one daughter has 2 kids before. She had never went through it. But I was dealing with 2 daughters at the same time. I just told you about one. But both of my daughters who have babies 1 week apart. I got 2 grandbabies, they're a week apart. And both of them was dealing with postpartum depression. And both of them had situations and issues with their fiancés. It's a really crazy thing. It's a real thing that even sometimes the woman herself does not know how. Like I said, there's stories of people who killed their kids. There's stories of people who drove their kids into lakes. It's a really heavy thing, by Eric. Like when you really get deep in it, and it's a lot. And so while that is going on, a grown man would not know how to handle it. It's like menopause. Mm-hmm. If you, I promise you, I tell husbands all the time that the woman at 20 that you married, when she turned 50, you ain't even gonna know who she is, because she ain't even gonna know who she is. It's a whole nother situation that happens. And so it's that he's 27. He was a young man. He said, yeah, that's it. Pastor said it's a chemical imbalance. He was a young man. He didn't know what he was dealing with. And she couldn't tell him. She couldn't help him because she hadn't gone through this with her other 2 kids. So it really was a really crazy thing. And his response after 9 months, not in the beginning, after 9 months, his response is that, he was begging her. He was talking to her mother. He was talking to me. He was trying to get her to be intimate. He was doing flowers. He was trying to do everything he could think of. And his response, as he did, cheated. And yet she went at his neck. She went at his throat. She kicked him out the house. But when we started having conversations with her therapist, with her pastor, and with her father, and we really dug deep in that, and she starts saying what she did not do, she stepped back and took accountability and went to him and said, we need to talk. And she apologized to him as much as he apologized to her. It saved their relationship, saved their engagement, and their marriage is 2025. Because
that's very interesting, because I would just think, I've been thinking that ever since you talked about it, because what if, it seemed like she came out her depression and she realized what she was doing. But like I said, I know the ladies they know more about it, because you may not come out that depression and you may still be on it and see things that person should have never cheated, regardless, because it's death to do us part. So they may not accept what they was doing, or they able to see it because they could be in that depression. But that could be in part two, because I really want to expound on that, because I don't know, and I really would like to know that wisdom as far as what the woman is feeling in that depression, because that's real interesting. Because guys could be in a depression, and when you are in a depression, it's hard for you to see things. And like you said, Brother Clarence, y'all talked to a psychiatrist, and it seemed like when she talked to that psychiatrist, she came out that depression. So when a person comes out that depression, they're able to see. But it seems like as long as they in that depression, they're not able to see and understand what they're going through. So should they be blamed for it? Or should she have said, well, I'm sorry for what I was done, or I take the blame, if she was under a state of depression that she don't even realize, or it took her under control? See, that's what I need the more understanding in. But it's been a great conversation. I love the conversation. I can't wait I'm looking forward to part two, and much love and respect to all.
Thank you, Von Eric, for this topic and bringing it to light. I will say postpartum depression and menopause is a whole show by itself. And just to be clear, they are both not emotional issues. They are, as Pastor Chris said, they are chemical and hormonal. So for women, it is way different. And I've experienced both. So that's a whole nother show, but we will have, because it affects everything. It affects how you show up. It affects how you think. It affects how you feel emotionally. It affects your sex drive. It affects your clarity, your day-to-day thinking. It affects, again, how you show up in so many, with both of those things. So we will definitely be touching on that subject as well. So thank you so much. I want to thank you guys for hanging in there with us on tonight and for being a part of this great conversation. Can a cheater really change? We have just touched the tip of this iceberg, and we are going to dig in deeper on part two. It'll be either the first or second Thursday in December, so just look out for the chat. And yes, I'm glad to say it is confirmed. We gonna make sure that Gregory and Zinja Bloomfield are on this platform. They were lighting up the chat and helping add content to this conversation. So we're going to get that date solidified and then make sure we put it out, because this has been great. I want to thank you, Von Eric, the mystery man. Thank you, the experience and the encounter, Pastor Chris, a.k.a. PC, a.k.a. the Psalmist Voice. Thank you so much, Coach Claiborne, Bishop Claiborne, Prophet Claiborne, Michael Claiborne, my prophetic boss Claiborne, all that and then some, Claiborne. And as always, to my kin, the Ace Perspective Lady, Anitra Carter. Awesome. I could not do what I do without each and every one of you. Thank you guys for tuning in, for sharing on tonight. I am your Thursday night host, Lady Dawn B, here on the Bravo with Sheila Network. I want to invite you all to join us again on next Thursday at 7 p.m. for another great and amazing night. Why? Because I will have crossed over into my Grace Plus Grace. So next time y'all see me, you're going to see me on the other side, okay? At the midway point. And we are going to celebrate. Nothing heavy. We just going to talk about what we talk about, but we're going to come and celebrate right before Thanksgiving. Come and join us. You're going to get to meet the rest of the Bravo squad, is what I call us. And we, the Monday night panel is going to be here. Pastor Sheila's going to be here. Everybody's going to be here. And we're just going to chop it up, have great conversation. It's a surprise. You don't want to miss it. So come on and join us. Help me celebrate my birthday, my Grace Plus Grace. I'm just saying, y'all, it took a long time to get here, but I'm here. All right, so we're going to make it pop. Don't be surprised if I'm sparkling, okay? I'm going to just do something sparkling. Okay, I'm just saying. Hey, all right, I'm going to be extra. I'm going to be real extra next week, all right? Not that I'm not extra all the time, but I'm just saying. So Thank you guys again for joining on tonight. Panel, hang out with me for 2 seconds, please. And thank you, everyone else. Please like, subscribe, and share. I love you. I appreciate you. Go be great and be encouraged. We will see you next week right here in this space and in this time. Have a great night, everyone. Good night, guys. Hang tight, panel.
Fortunately, blessings are not a snoring. You mellow, so focus on scoring. Got your underperforming. I never expect something, never assume nothing. Judging me for my past, but that's why I'm triumphant. I don't demand, I know where I stand like engineer hands. Watch how my life pans. That game plan, show out like a jotter, pop out like a cutter. Telling the kick rock, skipping the course, squares like hopscotch.